Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Oh, I had some good dinner tonight. Dad decided to make some sausage ravioli with vodka sauce, garlic bread, and I added some extra cheese on top. So I'm like, oh, this is delicious. I need to eat this ASAP. Because if I let it sit around for too long, it's gonna disappear. I need first dibs. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna grab a bowl. Nom 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 nom. Noodles. Plus, I didn't want it to get soggy either. It was delicious. It was so worth it. I feel good. Ooh, okay. The First Lateran Summit of Nations. Guide ahead, March 18, 1099. Dolly's Shenanigans and Siesta, So Long Adele, August 1099. Research Base 359 Incident, October 1099. Oh my goodness, so much happens in 1099. The event during which Dorothy's vision takes place. Recovery of Sanctiluminium Ambrosi, October 1 to 3, 1099. Which is the Federico event. Oh gosh. The Volsinian Rest, October 1099. Texas event. Oh gosh. Even more October. And then the Lingering Echoes in November 21, 1099. Lone Trail in Colombia. All 1099. Sheesh. Like, that is just intense. 1099 is the year in Arknights. And I know, right? Double Arknight stream day. I'm prepared. I ate good. Tell me happy. Which is kind of funny considering we're starting with Insider. Cause yes, inside. Tell me happy. Yummy. Oh my goodness, even more. The bank robbery, December 1099 to January 1100, Jessica's event. And the completion of Drag Statue, Spring 1100. The Drag event, Late Summer, Early Autumn 1100. Okay, those 2 years, so much happened. Like, what the heck? Even the Twin Empresses and the Witch King. The incident, July, December 1100. The incident in which Sotapera Nabis, Mizuki and Kirilla Arbor, ending one in Path of Life take place. Through Nuovo Volsini's Carnival, November 5, 9, 1100. Now, what was the year that our Dungeon Meshi collab happened in? Because I feel like it's probably another big year too. But for now, Insider, File. Basic info, codename Insider, gender male. Combat experience 8 years. Place of birth, Laterano. Date of birth, November 14. Race, Sancta. Height, 184 centimeters. Infection status, medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam. Physical strength, excellent. Mobility, standard. Physical resilience, standard. Tactical acumen, standard. Combat skill, excellent. Originium art assimilation, standard. Profile, Insider. Citizen of Laterano, is an executor of the Notarial Hall specializing in legal matters. Entitled to the privileges listed in clauses 1 to 13 of the Laterano Constitution, and claims to be experienced in handling civil disputes. In accordance with the agreement between Rose Island and the Notarial Hall, he now assists as a sniper operator. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear, normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation, 0%. Operator Insider shows no signs of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density, 0.13. Operator Insider has a strong sense of awareness and excels at keeping himself safe. The Laterano Notorial Hall staff sure cover a variety of topics in their training lessons. Archive File 1. Operator Insider, real name Rochelle Colombo. When Executor introduced his Notorial Hall colleague to us, he also briefly mentioned Insider's seniority and wealth of experience, which were later confirmed by his behavior after arriving on Rhodes Island. Insider appears to have an affable personality, which at first made everyone glad that he was the same kind of person as Enforcer. But after interacting with him for some time, we have gradually come to realize the huge difference between the two. While Enforcer is undeniably gentle and warm-hearted, hello, Insider has a more seasoned and slick way of doing things. He routinely prioritizes keeping himself safe while on the job, and this has honed his standards to a level that we must admit is difficult to come by without ample years of experience. The recurring topic of between Executor and Enforcer, who's normal for the Notorial Hall and who's a weirdo, can be put to rest, at least for now. The more we come to understand our collaborating operators, the more we realize each Notorial Hall Executor has their own distinctive personality, as well as a standard for combat prowess well beyond that of ordinary people, which needs no further emphasis. To borrow an old Jannie saying, those able to become executors are no fuel-efficient lamps. They're not at all easy to deal with. Wow. Archive File 2. Like most of the other Lateran operators that we have come in contact with, Insider is extremely fond of sweets. So far, our Lateran operators have had no less than 10 dessert competitions under a variety of names, with the latest one involving Insider's handmade frosted donuts. Their incredibly high sugar content stunned everyone present, and even the ultimate sugar-loving Laterans admitted the donuts were so sweet they could feel themselves getting fatter with every bite. I wanna try. Insider acknowledged that he modified the original recipe to use nearly quadruple the sugar, which to him was just the right amount. Sheesh. Our best guess is that his love for sugar stems from something he went through in childhood. According to the information we managed to find, it's extremely rare for Sancta children to live astray outside Laterano. While we have no idea what exactly caused Insider to lose his parents as a child and grow up in a Syracusan border town, the experience has undoubtedly left its mark on him. He spent his childhood materially and mentally destitute, and we have learned that in the neighborhood he grew up in, there sits a decaying and dilapidated church run by an old Sancta friar, a place left forgotten on weekdays, but it is precisely because of this safe haven that Insider and his fellow street urchins had the opportunity to grow up without running into trouble. One can imagine that he might have grown up to join a small local familia, had a certain incident not occurred which changed his life's trajectory. The appearance of a squad from Laterano passing by while on a mission, this group of Laterans found this shabbily dressed young man with a wary gaze out in the streets, and after hearing his story decided to bring the boy back to Laterano to let him live the happy life that a Sancta deserved. And yes, second prep stream. It was on the way to Laterano that the young Sancta tasted a dessert for the first time. It seems logical then for him to have fallen in love with sweetness then and there. Archive File 3. The completion rate of our missions ever since Insider started working with Rhodes Island speaks for itself. Like his colleague Executor, he will always find a way to complete the mission, no matter how thorny the task. Of course, there's a requirement to meet before that happens. One must successfully persuade him to accept the task in the first place. After all, he excels in avoiding troublesome jobs. One could even say that he has perfected the art. In most cases, he'll be unwilling to accept any missions that appear too difficult, hard to deal with, or will saddle him with heavy responsibilities. He makes no secrets of this attitude. Rather than chasing down fugitives or infiltrating locations, he preferred to deal with the trivial problems of Laterano citizens, along with some unexpected yet ridiculously embarrassing incidents. Only when there is no one else available will he sigh and take action to swiftly settle the incident or the instigator, while at the same time asking for large amounts of overtime pay. Oh gosh, okay. As a worker, Insider's understandable, but as an employer, I'd be like, gosh darn it, sir. Like, fine, here you go. Here's your overtime pay and lots of sweets. But precisely because of his habitual aversion to troublesome matters, everyone was shocked when he asked if Rhodes Island could accept some sarcasm workers. Voice log. I don't really like meddling in other people's affairs, and some situations are especially difficult to get myself out of once I get involved, but... how do I put this? Even an ordinary guy like me, who just wants to live a peaceful life, can get a little emotional, a little touched from seeing where someone trying their best to chase their ideals can end up. It's not like I'm a cold-blooded person with a heart of stone. I'm happy to help out even if it's just a little, within the limits of my abilities, and while I'm just passing by, of course. There are just too many people out there living poor or unsustainable lives. Sanctiluminium Ambrosi is special, but not extraordinary. There's not much I can do either. I can only make a few suggestions, but in the end, it's up to Rhodes Island. I mean, Serpilli and Federico are running around hard at work, so wouldn't I stand out if I wasn't doing anything? My intentions back then? Why jam the doors? Haha. Who did you hear that from? It was an urgent situation, and anyone at the scene would have felt like something seriously bad was about to happen, right? So of course I had to make some preparations in advance. Cleanup work isn't the most glamorous job around, but someone's gotta do it. I do agree with Oren that if things really went awry, it would have been extremely troublesome to deal with, so taking some precautionary measures would have saved us a lot of time. Archive File 4. What qualities does a true, pure Sancta of Laterano possess? By observing and comparing our familiar Sancta operators with the other Sancta we keep in contact with, and combined with our understanding of Laterano City, we have reached a preliminary conclusion. Some say that Sanctas are optimists, and others say that they are merry lot, but Insider has given us another answer. He believes that the typical Sancta is blind. He clarified that it is not an insult. He does not mean that the typical Sancta is ignorant or lacks purpose, but rather something more straightforward. Most Sancta living in Laterano have never truly understood how people outside the city live. Most of them, born with wings of light and a halo atop their heads, are indeed carefree optimists. They may set off some small explosions on the streets, creating chaos every day, and sending the Pontifical cohorts and the Notarial Hall staff running around, but the city of Laterano has always been one of order, and these lively events simply add a little luster to the city. There's an unspeakable order hidden beneath the Sancta's laid-back behavior. Most of them have never experienced material scarcity, injustice, or irrationality, such that these concepts mean little to them. They've never had time to think about them, and thus will never worry about them. You can't possibly ask someone who's never seen a circle to describe what a circle looks like, right? This is what Operator Insider told us. But does it even matter? Isn't it a good thing to be able to live like that your entire life? Addendum by Recorder. There's a hint of envy in Insider's voice. I can't say for sure. I once thought Executor was the eccentric among the Sancta. After all, he seems so unusual, so out of place, and doesn't even bother to disguise it. But Insider... I really can't say. He usually looks like just another cheery and carefree Sancta, so I'd always thought that he was the most ordinary of them all. Oh, I got Lemon. She came home pretty easy. And then Apple Pie took a while. But I'm happy I got both in the end. I was so worried at first. I'm like, oh no, who's gonna spook me instead? But nope. In a way, ignorance is bliss. But at the same time, like, it's a mixed feeling. Because they're happy. But it's good to know about the outside world too, so half and half for that. Like, sheesh. Oh man, imagine having like 200 plus pulls saved. I can't do that. I'm too greedy of a summoner in games. I'm just like, I'm gonna throw at almost each banner cries. But do I get most of the people that I go for? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Now, it looks like I've made a grave error in my judgment. It would seem he simply wants to become an ordinary Sancta. Promotion record, witness name, Rochelle Colombo. Witness's occupation, Notarial Hall Executor. Address, 3-209 Via Theodoros. Pagus Michelion. Type of incident, residential fire. Cause of incident, neighbor's oven malfunction. Incident details. The following is an oral account by Rochelle Colombo. It was probably about 9 in the evening when the first loud noise came from next door. It sounded like something exploded. I just arrived home and was busy cleaning the place up and tidying my wardrobe. The season was about to change, so I thought I should prepare in advance. Oh right, I didn't take it seriously and go next door to take a look, since it was just your average everyday explosion we're all used to. Generally speaking, as long as it isn't knocking some wall down, it's usually not a big deal. 900 stage is amazing. But soon, I felt something was amiss. A smell came from my neighbor's side. It's hard to describe it. But if I were to use a metaphor, it's probably like canned fin that was kept in storage for 30 years. The text on its label already worn out from age. No, not just that. And some unadulterated Victorian pattern cheese too. They mix them together and heat it up until it suddenly bursts. The Staying Shock smelled something like that, you know? Sorry. It really is hard to describe, but I think my sense of smell might have been a little off then. Oh, stinky. Stinky, stinky. Oh, you got Blaze Altar and Lemon on your very last pull. Dang! And a singles no less when you got Lemon. Holy cow! I am happy that they're giving us free pulls. Oh yeah, I already have my apple pie mainly raised. I just gotta get more. I need more EXP tickets, basically. Ooh, Lemon hits like a truck. Maybe I'll just get that instant raising thing for her, in that case. Anyway, the fire started shortly after the smell wafted over. Yes, I was the one who extinguished it, and was also the one who reported the incident, and the Nobunaga Hall staff who handled it. Haha, that was me too. It wasn't that big of a problem. The fire was discovered early, so it didn't damage the neighborhood much. The Nobunaga Halls deal with the incidents of this scope about 5 to 8 times a day. Some things at home were slightly affected. The wall and the cabinet by the door got a little singed, but nothing particularly valuable was damaged. Ooh! Pulling both Lappy and Stelly from free pulls, nice. I made a list to save you guys some time, so you can basically get off work as soon as we're done with this transcript. By the way, my neighbor was trying to make a dessert called Thunderburst Pious Saint Cake. I don't know if they succeeded, but if they keep at it, I might just consider moving. List of damaged property: Circle's Donut Store, limited edition pajamas, top piece, pair of fluffy slippers, 3-tier wooden cabinet, 2 pairs of dumbbells, self-made decorative painting, other, several discount coupons from major supermarkets in the city. No compensation required. Thunderburst Pious Saint Cake. Why did it smell so bad? And I want to try it. And yeah, the altar one. I raised her a bit. Like, I was hoping to use her during the event if I could. She's kind of weak right now because I don't have enough EXP tickets, but you know, she's cute. She can at least play around a tiny bit. And ooh, I love the name of his operator record. Secret Mission. Although she's basically a self-sustained unit, her damage is lifesteal and also gains a barrier. Oh, I love that! And she can also revive operators with her S3. Perfect! One egg, 3 tablespoons of sugar, yeast, 1 cup of flour, and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. This sounds yummy. I want this.
The paperwork's done.
Good work, rookie.
Just doing my job. How's the old man doing?
Shakes head. There's nothing more the doctors can do for him.
Which is to say... What's your job now? Executing the citizens' will in our capacity as executors.
Of course. It's our most important duty. Speaking of wills, Rochelle, attention.
Yes, ma'am.
That's more like it. Look alive when you're working. I know it's your first mission and I don't want to put unnecessary pressure on you. However, this is a secret mission, Rochelle.
A secret mission?
Yes, take this. The veteran executor takes out a sealed envelope and tears a page out of her notebook and writes an address on it. Ooh, Lemon, she's a tactical nuke. High burst of damage in S3. In terms of AoE damage, her skill 3 is comparable to Wizardel, if not equal. Oh my goodness! Oh, I definitely have to raise her then. What the heck? Okay, I think one of the packs right now does have that 6-star operator, like, raising thing, so maybe I'll buy that pack. Just so I can be lazy. I gotta check the store. Then she solemnly gives the envelope and the note to the rookie. Time is of the essence. Deliver this document to this address today. You'll need to leave immediately. There'll be someone there to receive it. Oh, skill to inferior her top skills. Ooh.
This is...
I can't tell you. Discretion is crucial for an executor. But I can tell you that this is an important mission. The contents of the document could throw all of Laterano into chaos.
Throw all of Laterano into chaos? Seriously?
Yes.
But I'm new in the job. Is this really a task I should be entrusted with? Isn't it more suited to a veteran like you?
Unfortunately, I have other urgent matters to attend to. You're the only one I can count on. You passed the Nobunaga Hall's entrance exam. You've proven your mettle. Now it's time to show it.
Is this how promotion exams work in the Nobunaga Hall?
Promotion exam? Well, yes. Complete this mission and you'll be a proper executor.
Okay. I guess I'll set out now, if you put it that way.
Take care.
I will... try.
Good luck, rookie. What an important first mission. Baby's first mission.
This address is in the outskirts. The fastest way would be to go straight down the street and just keep going. Before that, though...
Did you know there's a new shop in Pagastevedas? They say it sells the best donuts in town. I got online in the morning and bought 2. Try it out. Hello, hello.
I've tried it before. It's not bad, but...
But what? Are you going to keep me guessing?
Oh, Darian's donuts are the best. Even better than the new shop. I tried it once and I could never forget it.
Really? I don't believe you. Hey man, try this donut. I guarantee it's the best you've ever had.
Who? Me? Sorry, I'm in a hurry. Ask someone else. Hey, wait up!
It won't take long. The executor in training's hand moves instinctively, but he drops it back down. Rochelle's face twitches a little.
Sorry, I really am in a hurry. Excuse me.
Wait! Damn, he's fast.
After him, don't let him get away.
Oh, they're trying to stop him. I'm out of breath. Where did he go?
No idea. He can run.
I told you that wouldn't work. Getting close to him while pretending to chat like that. We should have stopped him and taken it by force.
Now's not the time for that. I've notified the others. After him. So they were after me, or to be more specific, what I'm carrying. The only thing I can think of is that this confidential document. I expected something, but not so soon. How do they know who I was and where I was?
Oh, skill 2, if she has to aim to full or the full duration of the animation, she deals 7k damage. At least with 1.2k base damage. Oh my!
It sounds like there are others. Who's it this time? Excuse me, senor. Someone just reported a robbery around here. Did you see anyone suspicious? No idea, I'm just passing by. Is it a coincidence that he's standing in my way? As the only potential witness right now, I must ask you to cooperate. Sorry, I'm in a hurry. Wait!
Excuse me. Is something troubling you? Is there anything I can help you with?
Another one. Well, the situation right now is kind of troubling. Sorry, but I really have to be going. Hold it right there.
We can't let you go.
What do you mean?
No need to play dumb. You know what we're after. Hand it over.
Well, well, well. What do we have here? On the other hand, I don't see any real hostility in your expression. What is going on with this mission? Well, it's my first ever job. I can't screw it up. Do we do it? Let's see what a Nobunaga Executor's gun is like. Could we avoid causing so much commotion in the middle of town? Bare hands will do.
Punch, punch.
I've reviewed your Pontifica cohort's record. You've proven to be an outstanding soldier. Gratias. Are you satisfied with being just that? What do you mean? You've done your job well, but one soldier more or less makes no difference to Laterano. We didn't bring you back from that Syracusan town because we wanted a soldier. What do you think of Laterano? It's a fine place. Much better than I expected, in fact. Not just a prosperity, but also a certain order that permeates everyone's lives. Our commandments? I guess. Sometimes people want to blow up decorations on the streets, and people like to watch it, but it's not such a bad thing. What I mean is, not the kind of bad thing where people get hurt, people die, and even those who aren't hurt or dead see their lives destroyed. I like this place. Okay, now I should be fine. I can stuff someone out. I can stuff someone in the trash bin, right? As long as they're alive, right? Yeah, I'm sure that's cool. Secret mission, robbers in the middle of the street. Is that what life in Laterano was like? Wow. First mission ever and it's a hot mess. Maybe I could get a transfer back to Pontifica cohorts.
Wow, she's an operator from Laterano. Faction or a related character. She can have them mark bosses or elite enemies so she can hit them globally. Okay, yeah, that is pretty broken.
Get the stuff to the destination, and then... Another one. Stop right there. You shall not pass, well, just stop. Hand it over. No sign of professional training, not what you would expect from someone trying to rob an executor. Is this a disguise in itself? Something doesn't feel right. Pardon me, but what do you mean? The envelope in your hands. This one, I'm afraid I can't assent to handing it over. It's my job after all. Well, I can't back off either. If you won't hand it over, then I'll have to take it by force. Hey, violence is bad. Arg, let go of me! I'm afraid I can't. Your form was messy, your footwork was poor, and the delivery was sloppy. I thought self-defense was part of compulsory Lateran education. How did you graduate? I passed the class. It's not like I'm working any dangerous jobs. Let me go. Not working any dangerous jobs? I would say trying to rob an executor is plenty dangerous. How about this? You tell me who sent you and who else is involved, and I let you go? I can't. I can't tell you. You don't know what you're dealing with. I heard it was something that could throw all that around into chaos. Some sort of weapon blueprint. You could say that. Anyway, I'm not talking. Don't even bother.
Well, into the trash when you go.
You're right. This is what sets Laterano apart from the rest. You said Laterano was special. What about yourself? Me? I'm Sancta, so I guess I'm Lateran? That's not enough. Let's go to the Nobunaga Hall. I'll write you a letter of recommendation. Be more than a spectator. Experience the life of a true Lateran yourself. The life of a true Lateran. Yes. I think you'll like it. I've already been delayed too long. Things would have been much easier if it weren't in Laterano. I'm not sure I like all this complicated stuff. What do you mean? What I mean is...
The trainee executor draws the gun from his waist and regretfully presses it against the youth's forehead.
It's such a beautiful day. I didn't want to have to do this.
Imagine if you actually like shot him like that. It's like, ah, look at the beautiful landscape. Hello, this is the Notarao Hall. The commission? Our executor's on it. It'll be done today. Complications? Understood, I will deal with it immediately. No worries, Rochelle may be a rookie and he has much to learn, but I trust him. He'll complete the mission.
I'm alive? Whoa, it's gonna fall! He shot through the pillar? That's crazy. He almost broke my arm. Hey, it's me. Sorry, I couldn't stop him. I told you, how was I supposed to stop an executor? Well, I think we worked hard enough to make old Darien happy. Phew, almost didn't hold back. This is not a Rano. I have to do things the Lateran way. Phew.
Imagine if a Familia picks him up instead. Rochelle could be terrifying. Like, just imagine, like, a mafia boss. Instead of with, like, an actual cigar, he'd have a candy cigar. And a bunch of other sweets.
Almost there. Excuse me.
Salve.
There's no one else here. There's no mistake, right? Are you the recipient of this will?
Yes, I am. Thank you for delivering it.
Just doing my job. This is the envelope I was asked to deliver.
Are you not curious what's inside?
I heard it's important.
Yes, very important and precious.
Is it really something I should know?
The value of something doesn't lie in the number of people who know it or possess it. I'll read it out once everyone is here. Oh, it's Salva? Interesting.
You're reading it in public?
Heh. Go ahead, open it.
Are you sure?
Of course. Wait. A, hard A? So... Selva? Selve? Oh gosh, it's even more confusing then.
1 egg, 3 tablespoons of sugar, yeast. 1 cup of flour, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Salve?
This is a donut recipe.
Yes, a nice one, isn't it? This is what my husband gave me when he proposed to me. My family and friends chased him all the way. You should have seen him when he finally made it to me.
Your husband was a descendant?
Yeah, nods. We didn't have any children. Not that it was ever a problem. We were happy together, the two of us. But we didn't want the recipe to be lost once we're gone from Laterano.
Was there a need to hide it from the Executor too, though? So, those people who tried to stop me were all part of the plan?
Consider an old man's last little game. Ooh, if I was Rochelle and I told all types of tales of Laterano, the Sanctus Paradise, and actually lived in it, I personally would enjoy it just because of all the sweets. As someone with a big sweet tooth, I'd be like, okay, you know what? Like, this is fine. Plus, I do like the silliness of random explosions, like, in a fun way, though. And heck, look at this mission. This is all just an old man's prank. One last prank on his wife. I'm sure he thought I didn't know and wanted to give me a surprise so that the recipe could be passed on to the next generation over the sound of cheering. Here, have a donut. I'm sure you'll like it. Like, look at this mission that could change the world. How was it? Sorry, I couldn't tell you the truth. That was part of the client's will.
I still don't understand. Why do Laterans do this sort of thing, even though it's completely unnecessary?
You said you like sweet stuff, just like pretty much everyone else in Laterano. The old man overheard you saying it, which is why he asked for you to deliver the recipe. It'll be even better if you learned it and made those donuts regularly. That's how Laterans are, and you can expect more of this if you stay on the job. Not happy about it?
On the contrary, I love it!
Excellent. Congratulations on the job well done, rookie. I would love that job too. It was just a prank. And now for the first surprise. Oh, look at the little birds. You're Rochelle? Someone taps something ice cold and unyielding against his head. Rochelle knows what it is. A gun. A Sanctus gun. Rochelle remembers. The old man at the church had a gun too. He treasured his gun like nothing else. Wouldn't bring it out just for anything. But the one time he let Rochelle touch it, because he was the same as him, a young Sancta.
Young man, you should have a gun too.
The old man looked into his eyes, seeming to mean something by it, though Rochelle wasn't quite able to tell what. Should he have a gun? It wasn't something he'd ever thought about. He'd always been pretty much like the other kids on the street. They whiled away at a time while wandering about the city, scuffling every which where, doing odd jobs for the familiar, fighting for the right to play at some machine in the arcade and calling it a turf war. If that described him, should he have a gun?
Young man, what are you getting distracted for right now?
The Sancta before him gives him a light few nudges with the gun.
Aren't you scared? Aren't you worried I'll pull the trigger? You're not going to, mister, because, I heard we can't hurt our own people. Isn't that how it works?
But this is just sophistry.
Thou mayest not harm thy kin.
That's what the old man at the church said. And he thinks that's what he meant. He has some recollection of it, but he never actually paid it much mind. Rochelle carefully scrutinizes the Sancta before him, travel-worn, but both clothes all neat and tidy, and looking in good health. Are he and this person kin? It's hard to say.
You're not wrong, but we can point our guns, but we can't point the guns at our own people,
says the Sancta, but there's always a but. Clack! The sound of pulling a trigger. Rochelle holds his head in an instant, and fiercely throws himself to the side. He feels no despair at this turn of events. He simply hopes he can avoid the fatal shot and... What? He feels a faint sting on his forehead. Something falls, sweeping past the bridge of his nose, and Rochelle grabs it. It's a piece of candy. Oh my goodness. Ah yes, a piece of candy. And that's to say, nice to meet you. The Sancta grins, no longer tensed up like before. He gives the prank item that spat the candy a spin around his finger, then hands it to Rochelle.
We know you from the back. We know you from the head of the chapel. He asked if we could pick you up on our way back.
He shoots Rochelle a wink and says,
What do you think, Rochelle? You want to get out of here? Come with us and live back in Laterano?
It all started with a prank. So many pranks.
Now for Executor.
Basic info, codename Executor, gender male, combat experience 5 years. Place of birth, Laterano, date of birth, July 7, race, Sancta, height 181 centimeters. Infection status, confirm uninfected by medical examination. Physical exam, physical strength standard, mobility standard, physical resilience standard, tactical acumen excellent, combat skills excellent, Originium art simulation standard. Profile, Executor is a citizen of Laterano, serving as an operator of the Laterano Notarial Hall, responsible for applying rights of the Laterano citizen numbered 1 through 13. He is well versed in many languages and legal frameworks. Executor has been contracted to Rhode Island, where he executes functions related to the rights of Laterano citizens. Clinical analysis, imaging tests reveal clear normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there are no other signs of infection. At this time, this operator can be confirmed to be uninfected. Cell Originium assimilation, 0%. Operator Executor shows no signs of orpathy infection. Blood Originium crystal density, 0.13. Has anyone researched the correlation between interpersonal relationships and crystal density? Maybe we should do this as our next task. Medic Operator TO. Archive File 1. The Laterano Notarial Hall is one of the official organs of Laterano Seat of Power. On the one hand, the hall imposes fees on the citizens of Laterano, urging them to perform various legal obligations, including but not limited to management of estate property, child rearing and guardianship, and execution of notarized contracts. On the other hand, the hall also performs various services guaranteeing the rights and benefits of Laterano citizenship. As such, the Notarial Hall requires a diverse and unique staff. Civil servants are dispatched to various city-states to supervise, execute, and oversee official functions. Operator Executor is one such employee. They are known as executors and carry out the will of the Laterano Notarial Hall. Archive File 2. The records of the Notarial Hall are open, fair, and transparent. Honestly, upon first inspecting Executor's records and commission, the Human Resource Department found it quite ordinary. October 12, the designated property was delivered to the appropriate heir. March 15, the company that violated the notarized contract was shuttered. June 2, monies dispersed by the appropriate party in accordance with the contract. July 9, in accordance with the wishes of the citizens. The majority of the tasks performed by Executor were mundane, if not boring, suitable for a low-level bureaucrat. In fact, 41 non-Laterano citizens died in the course of executing the first item. All had been sentenced to death or greater than 200 years in prison, while 6 civilian buildings were damaged in the execution of the second item. The third item saw the death of a Laterano citizen serving as a chief executive of a city-state guard unit, and the fourth item nearly caused a war. Most of Executor's mission record is like this. It is clear that the Notarial Hall deploys its executors only to the most challenging of missions. Archive File 3. Operator Executor is a man slow to speak who rarely smiles. The people of Rose Island have long understood this. It is also widely believed that Executor lacks common sense, but such an assertion would need to first be scientifically demonstrated. Human Resources does not accept such biased evaluations. Executor has indicated that his problem is not that he does not understand the facts, rather that he does not understand the meaning that others attribute to them. Our studies have shown that Executor's lack of empathic ability is not illustrative of psychopathic tendencies. Rather, it indicates a sort of mechanical absorption of information, with an overstimulated nervous system reaching similar conclusions. Adding more information to his mind does not result in the formation of secondary conceptions. Of course, the medical operators responsible for examination of Executor's brain activity have not yet reached a consensus. A small number of operators suspect that Executor is not, in fact, human, but rather a humanoid robot spy sent by Closure. Closure denies such charges, but she too believes that Executor is not a human being. For his part, Executor has never responded to the rumors. He just silently accepts his tasks and completes them whenever he is told this is a task that should be prioritized. Naturally, he puts his notorial tasks first. Such is the origin of his name. He decisively eliminates all obstacles and executes the will of the Laterano citizenry. The Executor. Archive File 4. Classified Log. Executor gave me the incorrect impression that Laterano's laws exist not only as statuses. Indeed, it is true that the Notarial Hall comprises one piece of the Laterano legal apparatus, and the Executors attest to an important fact. Laterano takes its responsibility to its citizens very seriously, treating it as a binding contract, but the Laterano people's adherence to the law, or even fear of it, goes behind an Executor's power to instill. I speak not of the power of religion. The political entities founded on deeply held beliefs go beyond Laterano alone, and the uniqueness of the citizenry cannot be attributed to the piety or self-discipline alone. This is also not to say that Executors, including Executor, are not themselves strong. Last week, I saw him tear out the aorta of a vicious beast with his bare hands, spraying his partner with blood. Oh my goodness, what a sight! That was not the first time an operator came crying to me that Executor is terrifying. And it certainly won't be the last. But for the hands of its few lawyers, executors, wandering judges, and the Pope himself, Laterano can do little more than proclaim that the law must be followed. In addition to its temporal statuses, Laterano must have another higher order of law that we cannot perceive. Rather than saying the Executor is one piece of the Laterano legal apparatus, it would be more appropriate to say that the Executor is a physical manifestation that Laterano created to befit the name of the law. At least, that's my opinion. All I want to know is what Executor meant by the statute that takes effect once a shot is fired. Given what he said, I have to wonder if this law might be some kind of Origini Mart. This is the first time I've ever seen Kelsey at a loss for words. She appears to have something to say, but turns and left with a cold laugh. The whole time we were discussing Laterano law, she kept a hand over her mouth and an eyebrow raised. It was really odd. I hope my curiosity hasn't gotten us in trouble. Caster Operator LAO. Promotion record. You really want him? Think it over. Everyone in the dorm has told you how bad he is. Why do you guys want to get in the way of my happy future with him? It doesn't matter what he's like now. I believe in the power of love. He doesn't think about intimacy like you do. He's such a glass half empty kind of guy. It makes you want to give up. You guys are a bunch of cowards. Just get out of my way and let me give it a shot. How do you even know he's that kind of person? I know. Everybody here knows. Huh? Hey, spit it out. One of you did something. Who was it? Her. What about you? I just took him out for a drink. Nothing else really. So everybody here did it? I'm the odd man out here? I mean, he helped fix the backup systems. It was really hot. What is this? So everyone there all shoot their shot at Executor. They're like, hey boy, let me take you out for a drink. Or hey dude, you want to get some donuts together? Hi, how about dinner? Would you like to get a milkshake? Like, sheesh. Wow. So that's it. Give up? We all gave up. Dialogue from a certain engineering operator's dormitory. I did not expect him to be that popular. What the heck? He helped fix the backup systems. It was really hot. I love that. That is just wow. Wow. Like, sheesh. And then Executor. He just applied for the funding to purchase 100 scoops of ice cream. Ta-da! He's a no-nonsense kind of guy. Puts the law above all else.
Name: Federico Giallo. Correct. All physiological indicators are currently normal, with no sensation of discomfort. Ready to accept inquiries. This is just a chat and not an inquiry. Understood. I will answer all questions truthfully to the best of my knowledge. Proceed.
This wasn't my first encounter with this deadpan, stone-cold new hire. Last year, the Nobunaga Hall recruited 3 new trainee executors, but unfortunately, 2 of them were ultimately unable to join our ranks. One failed the traineeship period's assessment exam, while the other suddenly discovered that inheriting the family dessert shop would be a more fitting career path, and handed in his resignation the day before he was to start as a regular. The last one remaining was this young man by the name of Federico. Federico, I'd like to hear your account of how the mission went again.
Understood. This mission was dispatched by the Nobunaga Hall. The party, a deceased Lateran citizen. The party stated that in his will that he hoped to find his lost heir and bring the heir back to Laterano. Due to the difficulty of executing this will, the commission was carried out by 2 executors. I brought back the testamentary heir, whose identity has already been confirmed.
According to the report, your partner died during the mission. According to the report, you were seriously injured during the operation. Your partner died. Oof. Wait. Ooh, Arknights coupon in the Google Play Store? I gotta check that then.
Correct. The Executor, Bertoni, was killed in action. During the execution of this mission, Executor Bertoni and I encountered the Bolivarian border region to locate the heir, as per the descendant's will.
Ooh, 3, 5, and $8 off ones? Okay, that's really good.
The area is currently war-stricken and devoid of stable social order. The testamentary heir was involved in a local armed conflict, which hindered the completion of our mission. During our search, we were involved in 3 skirmishes, during which the testamentary heir was held hostage for a period of time, and Executor Bertoni was seriously wounded. His injuries were severe, and it was difficult to render life-saving treatment given the circumstances and requirements. He made his own assessment and decided on the next course of action. He proposed that he would serve as a diversion to draw away any attention, while I would act undercover to ensure the safety of the testamentary heir. Given the situation, I determined this to be a reasonable course of action.
Up until this point, his account of the mission contained not even a single half-truth. Our executors are dispatched to some of the most dangerous places in their line of duty. It is not uncommon for them to expire in the course of their duties, but Federico's situation is somewhat special. The colleague in charge of handling this case had a number of concerns, which is why I'm now standing here questioning this young man. However, you didn't act according to his plan.
If I may be blunt, Executor Bertoni's plan conflicted with the will we were going to execute. The will, in addition to explicitly requesting the Nobunaga Hall to locate the missing heir and escort the heir back to Laterano, had a further implicit request. I hope that all Laterans may return to their homeland. This was the final request attached to his will. Now that his will has been processed by the Nobunaga Hall, it is my duty to see it executed to the fullest extent.
Oh, they could get along. Executor and Delopsis. I hope that all Laterans may return to their homeland. A wonderful wish, but I must say, is it truly a component of the will that requires execution? I look into the pair of eyes before me. They are resolute, calm, and do not betray even the slightest ripple. How I wish I could see something beyond that expanse of pale blue.
And Executor Bertoni's plan, his course of action regarding himself was unclear. The situation along with the Bolivarian border is chaotic, and the lines of allegiance there are murky. There are many forces among them that are hostile to Laterano. Under such circumstances, I could not abide by the plan and leave on my own with a testamentary heir. I request your understanding.
You knew exactly what the state Bertoni was in when you carried him back to Laterano, yes?
Yes, without a doubt. Executor Bertoni was largely incapacitated by the time we tried to escape, so I was responsible for carrying out the subsequent arrangements. The weight of a grown man was within tolerable load capacity and did not constitute a major problem. At the time, his blood loss had already exceeded the tolerance limit of the human body, his temperature had dropped to a dangerous level, and he quickly lost consciousness. On the day we broke away from the Bolivarian border, Executor Bertoni was confirmed deceased.
I didn't buy the new Calci scan yet, so it's perfect that there's coupons. I hope I have them in my Google Play Store. The first time I heard of a colleague's passing, and it won't be the last time either. What I find inconceivable is, what would Bertoni think now? Were the dead capable of knowing what happened? Would he want to see someone so young, injured to the point of near death, just to bring him back to Laterano? He certainly would not approve of what you did.
Executor Bertoni did in fact object, but he could not provide a reasonable explanation for his objection, so I chose to maintain my decision. When considering my duties in tandem with the situation at hand, the execution of the descendants' will took priority over Executor Bertoni's personal wishes. If there are special circumstances, I will take them into consideration.
This is what I came to understand, another thing that made Federico Giallo unique. This young man is somewhat lacking in empathy. The decision we reached before was that this deficiency would not affect his work as an executor. But now, I might need to reevaluate the decision. Federico, do you think that Bertoni's wishes were unimportant? Why don't you try putting yourself in his shoes and consider how he was feeling at the time? Second one.
But I cannot say I see the point of such an action. Executor Bertoni was one of the participating functionaries of this mission. As executors, it is our common wish to ensure the smooth evacuation of the descendant's will. I do not believe there has ever been any disagreement regarding this point.
I begin to want to let out a sigh. Bertoni ultimately decided to use himself as bait, so what do you think he was trying to accomplish? Instead, the young man in front of me rushed into the brawl, almost paying the ultimate price, coming back with scars all over his body just to retrieve Bertoni. Does he really not care? Does he truly not understand what Bertoni wanted? Federico, can you understand how I feel right now? Federico, do you really know nothing about emotion? Can you understand how I feel right now? The young man in front of me does not speak. He looks at me as if trying to determine something, but what is there to determine? Suddenly, he moves. He picks up a pen and draws something on the piece of white paper lying on the table. It is a circle.
What you feel is grief. During your line of questioning just now, you were trying to test me. You exhibited doubt, sadness, and many other emotions.
The young executor draws more lines on the sheet of paper.
I don't understand the cause of emotion, and it's difficult to grasp what emotions mean to individuals, but I do understand their consequences. Different emotions can be substituted with lines, straight lines and curves from different patterns, which is very helpful to me. Due to a birth defect, I'm unable to empathize with others, like most of my kind. But this does not affect my work within the Notarial Hall. I will carry out the missions assigned to me. If necessary, I will attempt to understand the emotions of the decedent, or other contractual party.
As Federico says this, he suddenly pauses for a moment. My mood has already changed as a result of his answer, but what he says next astounds me even more.
After finishing Executor Bertoni's post-mortem processing, I submitted an application for the execution of his will to the Notarial Hall. Before carrying out his final act, Bertoni said to me, "If I make it back alive, I swear I'll attempt the 10-scoop challenge at the gelato shop in front of the Basilica." If luck isn't on my side, then I'll need you to eat 100 scoops for me. The above is the aura well of Executor Bertoni.
That was likely nothing more than Bertoni's form of self-deprecation, or some joke. Finally, I couldn't hold myself back from cutting in. The lines he drew formed various geometric figures, arranged into an orderly array upon the sheet of paper, but my eyes seemed no rhyme or reason to them. I can't help but to wonder, did Bertoni have his own diagram of the sort when he uttered those words?
Your Cardinal, I have the ability to determine whether information is truthful or not. Though, I am unable to empathize with him. I've had similar experiences and able to determine whether he truly meant those words, because it is extremely rare to have misunderstandings arise from the receipt of false signals.
Federico maintains his composure from beginning to end. Anyone would think that him, a cold and heartless man. Just a few minutes ago, I was trying to determine whether his lack of empathy would affect his work for the Nobunaga Hall. But now, I once again find myself beginning to sigh at this young man's performance. I ask myself, yes, Federico Gallo has his flaws, but so what? Could it be said that because of his flaws, he is an emotionless, mechanical, and unfeeling individual? Is this method of reading emotions through lines something you were born with as well?
No, this is a method that my parents taught me.
For the first time, the young man hesitates at my questioning. I see his hands move again while he speaks, drawing more shapes upon the white paper. But this time, there is no need for me to ask what they mean, nor should I.
They were formerly members of the Pontifica cohorts, and later transferred to the Nobunaga Hall's executors, who died in line of duty. Part of their will was for me to be able to understand emotions, and the time I witnessed their deaths was the first attempt I made at interpreting this. Sadness, wistfulness. There are some similarities with Executor Bertoni's case. Your mood has changed again. Why?
I have no way of answering the question. After so many years in this line of work, I certainly do not wear my heart on my sleeves anymore. The banner was decent, I ended up getting both of them. But I want to keep on summoning until I have enough gold certificates to buy that last part in the shop. You know that whole thing where you spend certain gold certificates, you get more summoning tickets? I'm like close to the last thing. So I'm just gonna go for it. Bowl to drop in your third temple, holy cow! Okay, that is epic luck. Dang. But this young man speaks so firmly, without a shred of doubt. As executors of the Nobunaga Hall, we're more likely than any other Laterans to witness human life in all its myriad forms. From the living to the dead, we must confront all of it. In this sense, it is perhaps only Federico among us who truly has no distractions. Perhaps he has what it takes to become an exemplar of an executor. Thank you for answering all of my questions. Federico, what do you plan to do next?
Though it lacked a formal application process and was only dictated by the parties involved, Bertoni's will was witnessed by another executor. Under these circumstances, I believe that his dictation can be regarded as a formal will. As such, I will submit my application to carry out this will.
After saying that, the young executor's expression changes slightly for the first time. It is a subtle frown.
I have applied for the funding needed to purchase 100 scoops of gelato. I will carry out what the living and deceased have entrusted to me, no matter what.
100 scoops challenge. Yummy. Enemy? We went for ice cream to enemy. His mind is unconditionally rational. His heart is wide and true. I feel for the person who got to go to 270 pulls for both. Just Federico, you're walking too fast. Please wait up.
What's the matter, Trainee Roberto? Come on, why are you acting so cold? Didn't we both report in to the Notaro Hall on the same day? We're practically destined to become best buds, aren't we? I promised Ranieri that I visit his sweet shop after work to have some pudding. You should come too. That is an agreement between you and Trainee Ranieri. There's no need to involve me. Also, please remove your hand from my shoulder. Excessive physical contact interferes with the efficiency of my work. What work? Oh, are you talking about the investigation we just did of the Pagus Stivonis Central Hospital? That'll be the only item on our list of outstanding tasks. But didn't the doctor say that everyone involved in the accident came down with some disease? Something went wrong with the patient's collective empathy. Well, that's tragic. We're executors, not medics, and there's not a whole lot we can do. I've already reviewed the hospital records. Diseases related to the loss of collective empathy are extremely rare, with only 7 recorded cases, whereas in the past 3 days we've received 15 patients with the exact same symptoms across the various districts. Statistical anomalies like this cannot be ignored.
So you suspect there's not actually... so you suspect they're not actually sick? Then what do you think is causing all this? Ha, you don't think there's some weirdo out there purposefully stuffing their heads full of emotions that don't belong to them, do you?
It is certainly one possibility.
I was just kidding.
I would need to do more research before making any further conjectures. Alright then, sounds like you won't be enjoying yourself with us. I can get a few muffins for you though. What flavor do you... Hey, would it kill you to stop walking so fast?
I will take a chocolate muffin with chocolate chips, please. That's my favorite muffin. Chocolate chip. Yummy. I could have had a chocolate chip muffin yesterday, or a vanilla muffin, but at that point I was too full at work. Cause boss is just like, you want some snacks? I eat some chocolate chip cookies, and then I'm like, wait, there's more? Oh no, I can't. I already ate too many cookies. Oop.
And that is the general outline of the case. As you're a famous neurosurgeon, I'm here to ask for your professional opinion. Is there any way to artificially interfere with the collective empathy between Sancta?
Interfering with our collective empathy?
Foedere,
what you speak of is utterly impossible. Our empathy is a miracle unique to our race. Who could possibly hope to pry it wide open?
Impossible. Understood. Thank you for sharing your professional input. As always, I brought some food, and we'll leave it in the fridge. The fridge is full. I'll dump out some of the expired food before I leave.
I know how busy you are with work. You don't have to keep visiting me all the time.
The curtains are drawn open.
The curtains?
That was me.
I went out for a bit earlier in the day. Why? How full is the fridge?
Avuncle, I don't have classes right now. I can stay for up to a week. I was planning on cleaning up some of the clutter in the living room today. I learned some arts for quickly crushing hard objects that should prove useful in a large cleanup. Out of consideration for the possible noise, I'd advise you to stay inside. I'll relocate any of your valuables, so... It's gone. What's gone? The cello. Arturo always kept it by the window. Now the curtains are drawn open and the cello is gone. Did she leave? I let her go. I sent her to Lithuania and she said so many teachers anyway. And they've all praised her gift. Ha, gift. The damn thing ruined your aunt. The woman I loved. You still can't accept her. How could I? Whenever I see her, whenever I hear her music, I'm reminded of the pain of losing a loved one. The pain you feel has even started to affect your physical health. Foedere, you have no idea how much I envy you. Do you not miss the people who've passed on, like your aunt or your parents? I remember every detail of the time I spent with them. But do you ever go crazy thinking about how much you miss them? Do you ever feel regret for not spending your time with them more meaningfully? Mater taught me that if I always make the best possible choice in the moment, then there's nothing to regret. Which is why I envy you, because her music won't affect you. Ha, it goes beyond that though, child. I envy you and your lack of empathy. I envy you for not becoming addicted to emotions, let alone regret. Based on what I see, you've already started to regret your latest decision. You know full well that Lithanian's synthesis of musical and arts talent will only serve to further strengthen Artoria's arts. During the funeral, she made everyone who heard her music recall my aunt, and the process revealed their hidden emotions. Fortunately, everyone's lives returned to normal after the performance. Aside from some embarrassing memories, her music did not cause any lasting harm. But that may not be the case next time. When she returns to Laterano, her special gift may cause even greater turmoil.
Even greater turmoil. For example, some low probability events that would otherwise never happen. Federico looks through the window. Indeed, there is no longer cello casting its shadow beside it. But Federico's memory never errs. For the last 4 years, Marcelo had never opened the curtains, no matter how bright the sun was outside. To be more precise, he found it unbearable to even approach the place where the cello once rested.
When I told you about the case, I did not mention that it was an empathetic expansion incident. You don't have to answer the questions I'm about to ask, but know that I will also interpret your silence as an answer. Avunco Marcelo, has Artoria been here recently?
Maybe. Yes. Signora, the test results have all come back. Your nerves are a bit overstimulated right now, but otherwise, there's nothing particularly wrong with your body. But you're still not willing to talk? Those two, no, the one executor came by again. He keeps asking to see you, but he's a bit too blunt. The doctor is worried that his brusque manner will disrupt your mental state again, just when we finally gotten your mood to stabilize. What's this? A slip of paper? He slips a note under the door with a name written upon it. On it, Artoria. What's that supposed to mean? Why are you so agitated all of a sudden? Should I call a doctor? No. I like to meet with them.
Hello.
I can't feel you.
If you mean that your empathy did not alert you to my presence, then that is not due to any empathetic imbalance on your part, but rather a problem with me.
Did you cut yourself off from our collective empathy, or do you suffer from some deficiency?
The professionals lean towards it being physiological.
Poor child. You'll never know what you are lacking.
I appreciate your concern, but I've come to the conclusion that I'm perfectly capable of performing my duties. Moving on. I'd like to ask you a direct question. Have you met with Artoria Giallo recently?
I have. I saw her. No, more than that. I heard her. I heard her performing.
I can infer that she was performing at the church where you worked. Everyone who attended service that day heard her play.
I was conducting a sermon that day.
Did you know Artoria beforehand?
No, that was my first time meeting her. She sat in the corner of the front row and listened to the entire sermon, then asked me a question.
Please say the question in question.
She asked me, flashback. You just asked us to close our eyes and feel the emotions of our fellow countrymen sitting beside us. So I did. I felt bathed in peace and joy, just like every moment I spent in Laterano City. But, Signora, I can't help but wonder, what of the day 5 years ago? When those refugees displaced by war came to our doorsteps after crossing the wilderness, only to be ignored by you, did you feel the pain in their hearts? What are you talking about? It seems your memories have faded with time. Allow me to help you recall. Among them were children and the elderly, feline and liberi, and also several sancta who'd been born elsewhere. They journeyed here under the guidance of a kind-hearted individual, believing that someone in Laterano would help them. But the hopes of those poor souls were shattered. It didn't take long for most of them to perish in the sands. And you wish to take revenge on me on their behalf, child? Because of my fear of empathy, because of my inability to empathize with their suffering, you've come to here to expose me, to shame me? No, Signora. I have no right to retaliate against you. And as long as your actions match the emotions deep in your heart, I won't even judge you. But you are supposed to be a kind person. Please tell me, is the reason you refuse to help those people because you've grown accustomed to our collective empathy, but are unable to truly feel the emotions of others? ... And I pose the same question for every person sitting here. Arturia stands up and walks into the crowd. She pauses and stops in front of each and every Sancta, feeling their thoughts as if they were the most intimate friends. You blew up a flower by this morning. Do you feel for the others? Do you feel for the others living in the same neighborhood who are now mourning the loss of a precious childhood memory? And you were in a hurry to get home yesterday and rushed to board the public transit. Do you feel for the elderly woman you pushed aside, who was herself anxious about not being able to get to the hospital in time? I am the same. It is not that we were born selfish, weak, or dishonest. We simply hid beneath our Sancta halos, using our collective empathies as both the premise and expression of mutual care, and deemed that to be enough. But can we truly accept another person's emotions as our own? He probably does have, like, high emotional IQ. I mean, he has to learn to deal with things otherwise. Like, I kind of feel for Federico in that sense. Since I, like, admit, too, that my emotions are kind of, like, out of whack in that sense. Like, I don't personally feel super duper strong emotions for most things. And heck, like, for other people too, I just have to see, like, how they react, and then I'm just like, okay, so that's how they feel and how I should react accordingly after that. So it's kind of like a train thing. So I kind of understand Federico in that sense.
Did you answer her question?
I had no way of answering. She posed a question to everyone present. And afterward, she asked us, would you like to feel even more? She walked to the center of this church, lifted her bow, and began to perform our hymn. It's not as if she took control of us, but we're all drawn to the sound of her cello. I'd heard the same hymn countless times before, but in that moment, it was as if I was hearing its melody for the very first time. The whole city blossomed to life in my mind.
You're crying tears of happiness.
That's right. Even now, I can still feel those effervescent emotions. Some are crying, others are laughing. Some are born, others pass away. The doctors called my symptoms an empathy disorder. They said that the memories I was seeing were deranged hallucinations, and wanted me to take tranquilizers. I didn't even touch the other event. So, ooh, it's dual showdown where we bet on enemies in a battle royale. Oh no, for the betting on enemies. Oh, I did like... The last time we had an event like that, I had to do so many times. Because I bet wrong, and I'm like, no, how dare you lose? Any hello, hello? But only I know. No, only those of us who heard that hymn know. None of us have ever felt each other before, or felt Laterano, or felt the advent, continuation, and cessation of life as we did in that moment. Under the torrent of such powerful emotions, I no longer feel shame or regret towards what I did in the past. I know clearly that their pain will become my pain, and I will carry those memories with me as my own, until I face my next decision.
Thank you for your cooperation. I'll report your testimony to the Notarial Hall.
Walk, walk, walk. Where are you, Federico?
Roberto, as you are my partner, I have an obligation to inform you of my intentions. I'm ordering the arrest of Artoria, the suspect in the empathetic expansion case. She's most likely in the cemetery right ahead of me. I've already sent you the coordinates. Please be prepared to cooperate. Giallo, isn't she your distant relative? But that has no bearing on my decision-making.
Small. You're here alone again, Sorer. Avonko's also locked himself inside. The two of you haven't spoken a long time. Why not tell him what you're suffering? That you're suffering? There's no point. Foedere, my father's love for my mother blinded him to her true emotions. He wanted nothing but to keep her by his side, but she didn't want to be chained down by him. I only wanted to help him realize this, but he pushed me away. He would rather hate me than admit that it was Mama's idea to leave him. Like in the manga. Oop. Yep.
Regardless, you shouldn't have caused such a commotion at the funeral. People are hurt by your music. I agree with Avonko's judgment that you were in the wrong.
Are you also afraid of me, Foedere? Just like Father and everyone else at the funeral?
I'm not afraid of you, but...
The Sancta girl stands silently before the tombstone. She continues playing her cello, each note filled with emotions that Federico cannot feel. All he can do is sit on the grass not far away, scrawling away and thinking, occasionally lifting his head to look at the tightly shut windows, the vibrating strings, and the silent tombstones. He can even discern the sound of the cello reverberating, and the wind is becoming more and more frantic.
I will stop you. I will not allow you to continue your self-centered performance. Artoria.
It's been a while, Foedere. Are you also here to pay a visit to Mama?
You know I'm here.
You're still exactly the same as when you were little. Always so straightforward. Always so good at spoiling the mood.
3 days ago, in a church in Pagus Tivonis, you used Originium arts on 31 Sanctas, causing them to suffer from an empathy disorder and serious violation of our laws. As an executor of the Notarial Hall, I declare you under arrest.
Did you know? Ever since you were little, I always knew you grew up to be an exemplary executor. But, well, even I couldn't imagine that I'd be the first person you tried to arrest. From a certain perspective, that makes this rather amusing, doesn't it? Federico Giallo and Artoria Giallo were born to be mortal enemies.
I do not find that amusing. Your actions seriously threaten the stability of Laterano.
Foedere, do you know why I went to that church?
The refugees abandoned by the clerics were rescued from the battlefield by a sancta named Luciana.
That's right. I wanted to see where my mother went after she left Laterano, so I retraced the path she took and found the people she'd helped. One of these places happened to be a settlement, where my mother described the beauty of Laterano to them. She told them to come here for help in desperate times. She knew that most of them were infected and would not be accepted by the pure, holy city, but she thought that her handwritten letter would impress her former friends and colleagues. But what she didn't know was that most of them would treat her ideals, her feelings, as a laughingstock at her funeral. Even the few still held good feelings towards her, such as that cleric, would go on to look away from the plight of others.
That does not justify harming her or any of the others present.
Harming them? I simply allowed them to share each other's emotions. After that, they gained the opportunity to become brave, benevolent, and compassionate people just as Mama was.
You speak of something completely uncertain and absolutely beyond your control. The indiscriminate expansion of the scope of Sancta empathy will affect our daily lives, causing uncontrollable panic and chaos.
Artoria's arts are pretty fun.
The order that people are accustomed to would cease to exist, to the point where it would become dangerous to leave one's home. Law-breaking behavior will occur on a massive scale. which may trigger a large number of Sancta falling from grace in a short period of time. While becoming kinder is one possibility, they may also become violent or crazed, or even turn into criminals who threaten public safety.
I see that you can't accept that the order you're so familiar with has long since lost its rationality. Look at the truth. Emotions alone never give rise to madness. On the contrary, it is only when your heart cannot accept your own emotions that they pierce the shield of reason. We should have broken away from this false order constraining our emotions, making people callous, hypocritical, and cowardly. Only afterwards can a new, emotion-driven life be truly built. We'll be more free and have less regrets.
It is unclear who you're referring to as we, as well as the context of afterwards. All I know is that, much like Amina Luciana, your mother, it has no future.
Foedere, you really know how to hit someone where it hurts. I know it wasn't your intention, but you made me feel pain so effortlessly.
Oftentimes, pain can be a wake-up call. However, judging from your subsequent actions, I cannot tell if you ever experienced even a moment of remorse.
Remorse? If there's anything I regret, it's that I couldn't do more for my mother at the time, so she wouldn't have been so easily and hastily taken by death, while on the path to realizing her innermost feelings.
Your choice is irrational.
Foedere, how I wish you could understand the sound of my music. How I wish I could share with you what I think and feel when I stand in front of my mother's tombstone, recalling those times over and over again.
I refuse. No amount of emotion justify your crimes.
I don't want to exonerate myself, I just want you to understand me.
Put down your cello. I won't allow you to touch those strings anymore.
My beloved brother, are you really going to put your gun at me?
Unless you decide to surrender yourself.
You and I both know that's not possible.
Arturia, I can't allow any enemies of Laterano to move freely about the holy city unsanctioned. The sound of your music may not affect me, but the same cannot be said for others nearby. I can no longer allow you to weave your illusions to fill the minds of others with your necessary emotions, or even shake the very foundations of our collective empathy.
You refer to the very real memories my music brings people as the complete opposite. Illusions. Why? You've certainly never denied the meaning of emotions to yourself. I really ought to hate you, Federico. But still, seeing how we've been apart for so long, I prepared a gift to celebrate our reunion. Look over there.
A vendor's car? There you are, Federico! I have no idea why, but a few youngsters kept trying to drag me along, saying they wanted to turn this place into a venue for a balloon contest, and needed an executor there to certify it. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What are you doing? Why are you pointing your gun at another Sancta? Are you trying to fall? That's not a matter worth consideration in our current situation. I can't let you do this. You said that you're looking for Arturia Giallo, right? She's your sister. I know there might be some history between you two, but don't be rash.
The speeding balloon car shows no sense of stopping. Federico springs forward, grabs the two people from the left and right sides of the vehicle as quickly as possible, and throws them onto the grass. Countless balloons fly out of the car. The sudden kaleidoscope of colors blots out the sky as well as his vision. Though it lasted but a brief moment, it was enough.
Arturia. She got away. Huh? Please take the people who were in the car just now and report to Pagus Tivonis Central Hospital together. You still think to investigate? I thought you already got to the bottom of the case. I suggest you undergo a full body checkup. Just now, you might have all been affected by the sound of Arturia's cello. I don't feel any different. Assuming you haven't been affected, I have another suggestion. What is it? Oh, I know, you're about to suggest that I find myself a new job, right? Well, shoot, I was just thinking the same thing. I knew we were destined to be the best buds.
That guy.
And that is how my meeting with Arturia went. Apologies of Uncle Marcelo. But I've already submitted the evidence to the Notarial Hall. It is said that several cardinals have personally reviewed the files and identified Arturia as a wanted individual. My child, you made the correct decision. The one I couldn't bring myself to make. I keep thinking, what if I hadn't sent Arturia away? What if I hadn't closed myself off to Luciana's emotions when I learned of her death? Would she not have gone further down her misguided path? There's no point speculating. All I know is that it was Arturia Giallo's own choice to embark on the chaotic path she currently walks, and that I will personally see to it that she is brought to justice and made to face the consequences of her actions. They asked you to arrest your own sister? I'm the most qualified. Not only because I am one of the few unaffected by her music, but also, even if she herself is unwilling to admit it, there's a good chance that nobody in all of Laterano knows her better than I do. What happens after you arrest her? Will the law sentence her? According to the records, Laterano's laws have been supplemented and amended countless times in the millennium since the city's founding. Considering the uniqueness of Arturia's arts, the crime she committed may be difficult to prosecute under current laws. But as long as she continues to pose an objective threat, the gun of Executor will continue to render correct judgments. You're only a kid. You just graduated. Do you think I am incapable of taking on such a large responsibility? If anything, I'm worried that you're a bit too responsible, Federico. I'm sure you'll become one of Laterano's best executors, just like your parents. Maybe. I really am getting old. Recently, I keep thinking back to the past. Not long after your parents passed away, when you first came to our house, Luciana was still with us, and you and Arturia were such lovely children. We'd get together to have water gun fights, and if that is your heart's desire, I can take half a day off to play with you. You really are a good kid. Actually, there is one thing that you yourself might not have made sense of. You say that Arturia hates you because you deny the meaning of emotion, but it might just be that she knows you better than you know yourself. Please elaborate. Federico, you're the most sincere and open child I've ever met. You never run from your past, and you never suppress any of your emotions. You've left Arturia in a complete loss, along with her arts. I find myself somewhat puzzled at your statement. The envy once in a while. Then every once in a while, just stop thinking. So come on in and let your uncle give you a hug, okay? This request for physical contact makes me...
The door that had been closed for 8 years was open. The curtains were never closed again, revealing window panes as clear as a blue sky. On the table are several muffins and a glass of steaming water.
A hug is an acceptable request.
Dang, imagine being hugged. My family does not really do that kind of thing. Barely any, physical contact at all. Executor Satchel. Seriously, is it really okay to be going through Federico's bag like this? It's just a routine check while he's away at the ceremony. We're making sure all his gear is in order. You're the one who wanted to know why his halo looked that way. Don't tell me you're no longer curious. Fine. I am, but this feels sketchy. Then why don't you go touch it yourself and come back and tell us what the thing on his halo is? Yeah, no. Not really huggy type. Forget it. I could never do something like that. Not with that poker face of his. Which is why I'm guessing it's some sort of emotional amplifier or something. Don't be ridiculous. You don't really believe people can hang things on their halo, do you? My neighbor's cousin's classmate, who works in a psych ward, said it's possible to attach things to a halo now. Some new tech. That sounds a bit dubious. I read a book on psychoanalysis the other day, and it said that your halo is shaped by your inner thoughts. If you ask me, Federico probably wants to empathize with others, but he's physically unable to, which is why his halo has a hearing aid on it. Well, in that case, I think its hearing aid needs a new battery. Oh, come on. He cares more about how many bullets are left in his gun than anyone else's feelings. I see the thing in his halo is an indicator that's showing how much ammo he has left. That would explain how he always knows. Nonsense. I've been around Federico since we were young. The thing was there even before he became an executor. Are you guys crazy? Have you never seen anyone else hanging stuff on their halo? Alright. If it's really some kind of external attachment, we'll know by looking through his bag. Captain Gianna, have you found anything? It's all pretty normal. Magazines, water, and an umbrella. So he didn't stash it in his bag? I told you it's not some kind of weird peripheral device. He's so attached to it that he won't take it off, even when he's about to be made a saint. Is he planning to show it to His Holiness the Pope?
What is he planning to show me?
Your Holiness? Has the ceremony ended? Why are you here?
I should be the one asking you that question. Why are you two executors and a captain of the Pontifical cohorts off duty, sneaking around here with a notary apprentice?
We just want to know what the device on Federico's halo is for.
Oh, that thing. Just think of it as a height marker.
A height marker? Your Holiness, how do you know of that?
Of course I know. I've been watching him for over 10 years. The taller he grows, the more antennas he has.
Wonderful.
At first, he had only one, and now he has several. Federico has grown quite tall.
Over 10 years? Did the law choose him to be a saint that long ago?
Saint? Of course not. Back then, Federico was just Federico.
Yes, just a height marker. Like, look at how tall he's grown. Oops, went out too far. Meant to go back here. Oh wait, never mind. I went back enough. Tee-hee. Now his other self. Does this part change? No, right? This is the same. Oh wait, no, it's a little bit different now. Federico Gala, an executor from the latter Ranonoro Hall, is granted the status and title of saint from Pope Evangelista the 11th. This marks the first time since the foundation of Laterano in which a non-papal sancta has been granted the saint title, granting Federico the equal status to the sancta who built the city-state of Laterano and the popes themselves. Ayy. The antenna-looking thing is just an antenna-looking thing. It's just a part of it. I love it. Okay then. Bio. Basic info. Codename Executor. Gender male. Combat experience 7 years. Place of birth Laterano. Date of birth July 7. Race Sancta. Height 181 centimeters. Infection status. Medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam. Physical strength excellent. Mobility standard. Physical resilience standard. Tactical acumen excellent. Combat skill excellent. Originium assimilation standard. Profile. Executor. Professional statutory executor of the Laterano Notarial Hall is entitled to the privileges listed in clauses 1 through 13 in the Laterano Constitution and has been personally granted the title of saint by the current Lateran Pope Evangelista the 11th. Laterano has not placed any restrictions on Rhodes Island's contact with the saint, and the rapport between us and the Notarial Hall continues to grow. He continues to provide services to Rhodes Island in accordance with his contract, while performing tasks pertaining to the rights of Lateran citizens. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear and normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, the operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation, 0%. Operator Executor shows no signs of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density, 0.14. Blood originium crystal density has increased slightly, and though not yet a dangerous level, it requires closer attention. So how do I put this? Has there been a recent upward trend in the density of this interpersonal interactions? Has anyone looked into this? Medic Operator TO. Archive File 1. Despite being granted the title of Saint, Operator Executor is still affiliated with the Laterano Notarial Hall. As such, the Notarial Hall still has the right to issue him tasks. In this sense, the additional title does not seem to have any particular impact on the normal course of his work. Upon his return to Rose Island, his outward appearance had certainly changed him before, if nothing else. Based on his own explanation, as well as the corroborating accounts from a number of excited operators, we learned that the entire outfit he now wears was provided by the Lateran Curia, carefully tailored from completely different materials than ordinary clothing. It emphasizes not only aesthetics and comfort, but also practicality. With Executor's permission, we carried out a number of tests on his garb, which demonstrate that it boasts features such as impact and puncture resistance, and even a certain degree of anti-riot protection. Dang, that is an amazing outfit. The two guns he carries have also attracted the attention of some Sancta operators. While dual-wielding, his combat style is more aggressive than before, and his methods of attack more diverse. During the last mission, Federico used his sock to knock out every enemy who got close to him, commented Operator Speria. His fighting style has nothing to do with how many guns you cram into his hands. Even with just a stick, or barehanded, that guy will get the job done. Huh? You wanna know why they went through all that effort to give him a makeover? Because everyone thought it'd be badass. Duh. I love that reasoning. Engineering Department Classified Log. Regarding the mechanical object that always follows Operator Executor, at first, I thought it was some unique type of drone. However, while going over recordings of its battles, I saw it in action. The number of functions it has far surpasses that of an ordinary auxiliary drone. But it seems that even he himself doesn't know much about it, claiming that it was handed to him directly by His Holiness, the Pope. What is the secret behind this tiny little thing? It's really gnawing away at me, and I sure wish I had the chance to take it apart and see what makes it tick. Archive File 2. He asks more questions now. This is a sentiment shared by every Rose Island operator of late. Indeed, some of the recent changes exhibited by Operator Executor are obvious to all, but by no means does this imply that he now wears his heart on his sleeve. Not at all. If someone who normally scores a 90 on exams got an extra point one day, nobody would bat an eye. However, if someone who only ever turns in blank exams suddenly started filling in the answers, of course I would turn some heads. The situation with Executor is similar. Several operators who have had contact with him have mentioned that he has begun to ask them questions in casual settings. He asked why I didn't just kidnap the client right back. Haha, he let you off easy. He asked me why I didn't just blow up the whole building to prevent the target from escaping. So, what'd you tell him? What else? The truth. Putting on a fireworks show might seem like the most straightforward option in the moment, but the cleanup afterwards would be an absolute nightmare. Did he listen? Seems like it. So what'd you answer? About the same. Abducting the guy would have been faster, but dealing with the fallout would have been too much of a headache. As for Executor, he said that while he doesn't quite understand, after giving it some thought, he agreed that our way is more sensible and efficient. These unusual changes in Executor have attracted the attention of many. Based on the recent feedback we received, we can surmise that he's trying to take more factors into account when determining what the most logical course of action is. Moreover, he's already putting this into practice, regularly attempting to complete tasks in a better and more reasonable manner. It's like he just got patched with a new algorithm. It's better than before, but still spits out some weird results from time to time. Are you talking about when he went to console the target after defeating a group of bandits, just like you suggested, except he was completely covered in blood, so he scared them half to death with his emotionless face? Well, he's trying. Medical Department Work Log. We received feedback from a number of our personnel that Executor seems to believe that he is suffering from some kind of disease, manifesting as a sporadic prioritization of certain actions, some of which he finds perplexing. As a result, he's been going to medical for regular physical examinations at an unnecessarily high frequency. It's good to want to stay on top of your health, not saying it isn't. A member of the medical complained to us with an air of resignation, but there's nothing wrong with him, seriously, except mentally. As an aside, some members of medical actually welcome Operator Executor's behavior and are discussing using his case as an example to those patients who really need checkups but refuse to show up. Archive File 3, 5th Tribunal Internal Conversation Log 1. Federico makes for an excellent executor. I can attest to that, although it isn't clear why His Holiness bestowed him the title of Saint at such a sensitive juncture. I do believe that if anyone can shoulder the Pope's expectations, it is that exceptional young man. His background, of course there's nothing problematic. As I recall, his parents were also affiliated with the 5th Tribunal. Hold on. I'll go pull up the records. Here we are. Mr. and Mrs. Giallo. Both were statutory executors with the Notaral Hall, both very capable. Unfortunately, they passed away during a mission 15 years ago. Federico would only have been about 10 years old at the time. Poor child. So what made you suddenly decide to look into him? The whole saint thing? It's about Arturo Giallo? First, let me make this abundantly clear. Federico's files were strictly reviewed at the time of his onboarding, and there were no issues. Keep that in mind, as it will be the premise for the rest of our conversation. Ooh! Part of the last update also had the ability for operators to be part of more than one faction? Ayy. Keep that in mind, as it will be the premise for the rest of our conversation. Arturo Giallo, her father and Federico's father were cousins, as is unambiguously stated in the documents. There's nothing to hide. After the death of the Giallos in the line of duty, Federico stayed at his cousin's household for a period of about 2 or 3 years, after which he entered middle school and began living on campus. Incidentally, when Arturio's crimes first came to light 7 years ago, forcing her to leave Laterano, it was Federico, then a newcomer, who pieced together the relevant clues. Since then, he's made efforts to raise the priority on the mission to bring her into custody. I'd imagine that a young man's first case must have special significance to him. No, I don't think there's anything problematic with that. We carried out a detailed investigation when Arturo first became a wanted fugitive. As far as I know, Federico and Arturo were never in close contact, and there's no reason to believe it would affect his work. His day-to-day performance speaks for itself. 5th Tribunal Internal Conversation Log 2. Arturo stayed at Sanctilla Minium Ambrosi for a week, after which he decided that she would go to the Athenian. The relevant investigation reports have been sent to the Notarial Hall. His Holiness has other plans to follow up investigations and related matters, which I cannot disclose in advance. A sister? From a biological perspective, Arturo is only my distant relative, and I have no need for such informal relationships. A meaningless question. Archive File 4. When we use the term saint, it may evoke images of the saints of the Iberian Inquisition. The term was originally borrowed from the Lateran faith. The people have been fully absorbed by Iberia. It's iconic to its people, and has taken on its own unique cultural expression. You describe Federico as a flower in the ruins? In a place such as Laterano, who is high empathy and optimism, he's like a potato in a field of flowers. A plant that can only grow even in harsh. So like Castel managed to grow in a soil meant for flowers. He's a hardy boy. For the Laterans, however, saint is not just a title to be thrown around haphazardly. In all the classics relating to Lateran history, there are records of the first generation of saints erecting stone towers and building the holy city. The first group of sanctas led everyone to lay the foundations for Laterano, and only after generations of hard work did they create a peace to continue for thousands of years. Only then did we finally have a society elevated above the flames of war. Harmonious Laterano, with the exception of the first group of sages who established the city-state, only the Pope has ever bestowed the title of saint. During their term in office, this is not only a great honor, but also represents the weighty responsibility to lead the Sancta, as well as all of Laterano. For thousands of years, this title has, without exception, been passed down from generation to generation through the Pope, until this millennia-old tradition was broken by the decision of Evangelista XI. Federico Giallo became the first non-papal canonization in thousands of years. Why would the Pope make such an unprecedented decision? There is no doubt that Executor is excellent at his job, but Laterano has no shortage of combatants who are braver or more skilled than he, and no shortage of devotees more faithful. There's also a litany of other Prestigious figures who everyone had the same question: why Federico? Why Saint? His undeniably excellent performance aside, the situation seems somewhat less shocking that thanks to his detached attitude and the unique circumstances surrounding Laterano. But without a doubt, the decision made by His Holiness goes completely against common sense and warrants astonishment. Why did the sitting Pope, in all of his wisdom, make the decision? And what signal is he sending? Operator Executor told us that the Pope informed him that a disaster would befall this land, but what sort of disaster would force Laterano, a city that has been peaceful for thousands of years, to take such urgent measures? Federico Giallo was his first appointment. But what comes next? Will we also see Laterano appoint a second or third unconventional saint? Dr. Kelsey seems to be very concerned by this news coming from Operator Executor and Laterano. I think it may be prudent to start preparing in advance. Except from Kelsey's personal records, there's no doubt in my mind that His Holiness has issued us a warning: calamity is coming, and Laterano will not be able to survive alone. It may even be the case that the calamity will destroy Laterano first. This so-called canonization is undoubtedly the countermeasure chosen by Evangelista XI. A saint who guides all Laterans, is it? There cannot be only one such person. Perhaps we'll soon see more of these unconventional cases, more non-standard Lateran saints. They'll become Laterano's cornerstones, a sign of hope amidst the coming calamity, the symbols of another way forward for the Sancta. As for this calamity, I still can't give a definitive answer, but things are becoming clearer and clearer within my mind. There are too many signs, too many omens. It is coming, and soon. Promotion record. Executor often finds himself lost in thought. After his mission at Sanctimonium Ambrosi, he often finds himself at an impasse and believes that he has encountered his most difficult situation yet. Letting emotions affect his actions is something he cannot understand. The rationality of his behavior troubles him. He has yet to reach his own conclusive understanding, but he still knows exactly what he must do: complete his job faithfully, just as always. If you run into any problem, try to solve it. If you have any doubts, ask someone for help. Conversation record. I saw Executor the other day. Yeah, that Executor. I know. The guy your entire dorm was chasing after at one point, right? Oh, we're going back to them? We put that behind us a long time ago. But you know what I saw? I saw him lost in thought in front of a flower. Someone's trying to get a head start again? No, that was not the issue. He had a serious look in his face, as if he was grappling with something difficult. I didn't even have the guts to say hi. Oh yeah, I think I get it. Get what? Calm down for a sec and think about this rationally. What in the world could make a guy like that lost in thought? It's not normal. Huh? Were you sure he was holding flowers, not some kind of explosive device or other weapon shaped like one? If it looks like a flower, it could be some new kind of landmine, right? Holy cow, these girls, what the heck? When you put it that way, that does seem pretty plausible. Now you get it, flower or not, the thing has gotta have thorns. That does make sense, and I did see him handing it to the doctor lately. Say, do you think it has something to do with a secret mission? Azure. In his eyes reflects the sky. Oh man, I wonder what Executor's uncle, or heck, even Arturi would think about how popular Executor is at Rhode Island. Because that is too funny. Like, good for him. Ooh, I want to see them race. I want to say Lemon has the advantage. In his eyes reflects the sky. Oh, it lows. Let me take a sip of my watermelon juice. I hope it's still good. I didn't refrigerate it. fine. And hey, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the raid. I hope your stream went by well. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the operator prep stream, aka learning about the operators in the next event.
Target has been placed into custody, and the lost medical supplies retrieved. One operator suffered a mild ankle sprain during the operation. That is all I have to report about the mission. I've been asked to communicate my superior's gratitude for Rhodes Island's support of Lateran citizens abroad. The Notarial Hall would be honored to welcome you while Rhodes Island is stationed near Laterano.
It was the right thing to do. We'll go if we have time, Federico. It was the right thing to do.
I will pass on your answer. If there is nothing else, I will take my leave.
One moment, Federico.
Do you have another task you need me to perform?
Many of our younger patients have improved. Medical is throwing a party to celebrate. I got a message telling me to dress up. To dress more interesting. Ooh. Medical is throwing a party to celebrate.
Interesting. That's rather vague. Are there any more details?
Maybe they think my clothes are too monotone. Maybe I need to wear more colors. I want more colors. I'm gonna put lots and lots of layers. And oh, thank you. Vivek sent me a dozen party hats. What do you think works best?
They're all conical. The only difference is the color.
True.
But I'm afraid I cannot give you a useful opinion. I perceive all colors the same way.
People always praise your color coordination. You wear a lot of colors. People always praise your color coordination. Help me become fancy.
This is an official Notarial Hall uniform. I did not choose it.
What about when you're off duty?
The same. I have 7 sets of identical uniforms that I wear whether I'm on duty or off.
Ah.
You look disappointed, Doctor.
That's not it. Just a bit. That's not it. Well, if it's not broke, don't need to fix it. It is a nice outfit. I get it. Executor's been sitting there for a while. Am I imagining things, or has he not moved at all? And good night.
Not according to my measurements. You don't often see a Sancta so quiet.
You're new. You don't know.
Know what?
Like, I think we'd be decent co-workers. 1 fugitive on the run, 2 hidden mines, 3 massive holes, and leaky evenings beyond reckoning. Ahem, what are you two doing? I'll slash your pay if I catch you talking bad about a guy behind his back. Closer, what are you doing here? Just looking for the doctor. There's been a question of what color hat to wear to the party. I'm curious if the doctor's come to a decision yet. Is the Sancta going to sit there all day? Rhodes Island is pretty big. Can't you sit somewhere else? Hey Sancta, you better move. It's going to rain and you're going to want to hurry if you're going back to Laterano. Unless you're going to make the trip in a downpour.
Closure the Vampire, Chief Engineer Rhodes Island. Threat level downgraded from extreme to low 1 year ago.
Wow, what a difference.
Imagine going from extreme to low. No special action required.
Should I feel insulted? Do you have to be daydreaming here of all places, Sancta?
I'm just pondering what color a party hat should be.
The doctor asked you? Rapid fire. What color am I wearing right now?
Black and red. But your question does not answer mine. It does not help me determine the proper color for the hat.
Maybe you should install color sensor and the associated algorithms to help you perceive the differences between colors. I'll even give you a discount.
The installation of mechanical parts in the human brain is impractical at current technology levels. In addition,
what?
Your experience with cranial surgery is unreliable. Adjusting reliability rating of Closure the Vampire to extremely low.
Oh right, my bad, my bad. I shouldn't have made fun of you.
What is this?
An anonymous artist is holding an exhibition at the Lateran Basilica this weekend, and Rhodes Island got a few free tickets. I was going to give them to the younger operators, but maybe this will do you some good.
Thank you.
Now, can we talk about making some adjustments to my profile? No more extremely low. Closure kept the operator clubbing with me in secret. Never thought it would be you.
Being both an operator of Rhodes Island and a citizen of Laterano, I do not think it was a surprise that I am here.
I'm surprised you come to an art show in your free time. I didn't think you'd be interested in an art show. I'm surprised. Oh my goodness, you're going on a date with him.
Your doubts are justified. I prefer to spend my time testing and maintaining my weapons and getting proper rest.
But you came anyway.
I had to supplement my knowledge on colors to complete the mission you gave me yesterday. What about you, Doctor? The Notarial Hall was not notified of your visit to Laterano.
It wasn't a mission, Federico. This isn't an official visit. The kids wanted me to go with them. It wasn't a mission. Do you need art credits for your finals too, Mr. Sancta? Hello, hello?
It is not part of my annual performance analysis.
No fair, Doctor. Why does he need to take exams? Want something to eat? I'll buy you an ice cream, so forget about it. Want something to eat? Thank you, Doctor. I like strawberry, please. Pineapple. What about you, Federico?
I do not need anything. I do have a membership card for the ice cream shop, though.
Thank you. See you at the gallery. You go in first, I'll find you later. See you at the gallery.
You've been standing in front of this painting for a long time. I assume it is appealing to you.
Yes, it is. I'm curious about the colors the artist used. I'm interested in the shapes and figures on the canvas.
There are very few straight lines or corners. The principal elements are circles, ovals, and curves, and the lines are smooth and round.
Do these visual elements give you any particular feelings?
I've studied the visual influence of shapes in order to understand the emotions of others. There are many cases that indicate one's subconscious preference for a shape is connected to their psychological profile.
Interesting. Elaborate.
The orderly and balanced arrangements of the forms indicate that the artist was in a calm and tranquil state of mind.
Doctor, I think my eyes are gonna burst from all the blue. The artist must have been really excited when painting it.
We came to opposite conclusions based on the colors and shapes used by the painting. How can one be calm and excited at the same time? I do not understand.
People are complex. Anything is possible.
Your beatitude, Saint Federico. This is such a wondrous surprise. I thought the staff were out of their minds when they said they saw you in the crowd. Good morning. Reverend Simone. Is His Holiness here? No, I'm on my own. And who might you be? A doctor from Rhode Island. It is honored to meet you, Doctor.
The honor is all mine, Sir Simone.
Are you here on official duty? Of course not. Today is Sunday. It's a Sabbath. Don't tell anyone, but I'm the anonymous artist behind this exhibition. I didn't want it to be a distraction while I'm still a gun knight. What of your beatitude? Are you really here to appreciate the art? Yes, Reverend Simone. Now you're the last man I expected to be joking. I know. Notarial Hall business, right?
I can vouch that Federico's not here for anything complicated.
I came here to learn more about colors. You've come to the right person then.
You've piqued my interest too. What can you tell us? Teach us.
While there's a degree of subjectivity in individual perception of color, we've also achieved a degree of consensus over what different colors represent. For example, red is considered stimulating and represents excitement and passion. As one who considers himself mild-mannered, however, I rarely use it in my artwork. 5 years ago, you... Now, let me talk about my favorite color!
Let's hear what he has to say. Although you're not the only one who is a little skeptical. Let's see what he has to say.
I noticed that you use a lot of blue in your artwork. Very astute of you. The tranquility, reason, and depth represented by blue is my life's pursuit. In addition, it also calms the mind, helping them feel peace and tranquility. Hey, was that a camera flash? Hey, what the hell are you doing, you little runt? Yeah, you. Who said you could use flash? Get away from my painting, further! Now, where are we? Blue helps one feel peace and tranquility. Yes, blue. The resting place of my soul, the symbol of eternity, such beauty.
Excuse me, Reverend Simone. There's something you need to know.
Pardon me, I should look into this.
Dad, he loves blue.
His words and actions are highly contradictory. I find it hard to trust the information he provided about the color blue.
One moment, Federico.
Do you find his statements credible?
Colors have complex emotional implications. Maybe we can delve further. There are many things affecting emotion. Color is only one of them. There are more factors that need to be considered when thinking about the impact of color on emotion.
The natural flaw of man means that I will have to spend much time to achieve this goal.
But you're not afraid of the challenge, are you? But you're never afraid. But you're not afraid of the challenge, are you?
True, Doctor, I am not. Excuse me, your beatitude. We have need of you.
Oh?
Closer, please. We can't be overheard.
What happened? Any hello?
Doctor, you should leave with the young operators.
What about you?
I have an emergency mission.
Dear guest, we regret to inform you that there has been an emergency. We ask that you remain calm and proceed to the nearest exit side for evacuation. Oh no, drama.
Why is there a bomb here?
There was an armed altercation in the Basilica yesterday. We thought the explosives left behind by the suspect had been cleaned up. Is there anything your beatitude can do?
I believe that casualties can be avoided, even if there is an explosion.
But the whole gallery above, all the artwork.
Understood. New mission objective. Protect the artwork on exhibit. Time is short. Action must be taken quickly.
Where are you going?
Make sure no one follows me.
Take you to the roof?
There's sufficient distance from the crowd and the artwork, and sufficient cover on the roof to keep the blast radius to 3 meters. This is an appropriate spot to move the bomb. Set countdown. Decem, Novem, Octo, Septem.
Wait, are we not gonna, like, stop it? Well, okay.
Quinque, quartor, tres, duo, unus. No significant difference between expected and actual blast radius. Damage to exterior buildings noted. A 1.75 square meter hole has appeared in the roof. There are no casualties and no damage to artwork. Bomb threat has been neutralized.
Okay.
The bomb has been detonated on the roof. No harm has been done to personnel or the exhibit. The dangers have been eliminated. The exhibition may continue.
Your beatitude, you should leave quickly before.
You seem to have feelings of concern, fear, and regret. The response is unexpected based on the outcome. Please elaborate.
You left us so quickly with the bomb that I didn't have the chance to tell you, but the most important work of art in the exhibition was... Oh no.
Get out of my way, sane or not, that bastard's going to get it. I spent an entire year painting that dome. I won't let this go unanswered.
Oh no!
Stop right there. I never moved. Well, you've got nerve at least. I apologize for damaging your work. I shall reassess the mission and completion status and compensate you for your loss. Compensate? You think the time and effort I spent on that dome can be made up for with money? If necessary, I can restore it to the precise condition that it was in. I have carefully observed every corner of the gallery, including the dome. It will not be difficult to restore it from memory. Are you trying to insult me? Even if you can recreate the touch of the brush, you can never restore the passion and inspiration in my heart and mind when I painted it. The precise condition it was in, you don't know what you're talking about. Why the frown? Not happy? No, I'm thinking about what else could be done. I'm trying to infer your emotions at the time through my memory of the artwork. What's the point? Even if you could do it, it's become blurred with the memories. It shattered when the dome did. All that's left is the sky through the hole. The sky.
The Executor looks up at where the dome used to be. As the sun shines down gently through the hole, he feels a gentle warmth in his face. It's been raining heavily these past few days. I haven't had the chance to see the blue sky.
I thought you took the young operators back to the ship, Doctor.
Don't worry, they're safe at our branch office. The young operators are safe. I came back because I was worried.
I'm sorry that I cannot ensure that your visit will be smooth. I must make new plans.
Shh. Look at the sky, Federico. Pretty sky.
There you are, Doctor.
I came to check on the injured children.
We found the children in the cellar to be in a state of malnutrition, 4 of them severely, with 1 in critical condition. Their odds of survival would have increased greatly if we arrived a day earlier. 1 day earlier.
Are you injured? What's with your shoulder? Are you injured?
There's a wound at the base of the shoulder.
What are you holding, Federico?
A drawing from a child.
Looks like we have a very talented young artist on the ship. What do you see up there?
The blue sky. The child told me that he was imprisoned in a place of darkness, but he saw a shade of blue just as he was about to lose all hope. It comforted him.
You didn't mention anything blue at the scene.
I believe he did, in fact, see it. I broke into the cellar from above. There was a high chance that he saw the blue sky.
Yeah, the blue sky is comforting. Yeah, a shade of blue in the sky is comforting. Federico feels you pat him on the shoulder. He looks down at the blue sky on the drawing. New exhibit. It's good the rain's finally stopped. It's been overcast for so many days that I can feel mold growing on me. The sun's so warm. I just want to lie down and take it in. It drives all the darkness and gloom away. Look, even Reverend Simone is entranced with the sunlight.
What a beautiful blue. I think I saw it in a dream. It blends perfectly with my artwork. All the blue I used on the dome was only there to complement its beauty.
After a few days of heavy rain, the sky is a shade of painted blue. The wind spreads the paint out, from far to near, from deep to light, blending and stacking colors, dyeing it in a beautiful shade between blue and green. Everyone is looking up at it with an entranced expression, their hearts full with happiness and comfort. The feeling spreads through the streets as passerby slow and diners put their forks and knives down. Looks like the danger has passed.
Yes, the incident has been resolved, as you can see.
You said incident resolved rather than mission complete.
I did not complete my mission, as the work of art was damaged in the bomb disposal process.
But everyone looks happy.
That is because of the sky. Sunday sunny. The sky a rare shade of blue. Those who see this shade of blue exhibit enlarged pupils and lift the corners of their mouths, indicating feelings of joy. More information is required to determine the correlation between this special shade of blue and positive emotions. Boss, stop muttering over there. Understood.
Pat him on the shoulder. Look into his eyes. Do nothing. I'll pat him on the shoulder.
I am unsure what this physical contact means.
No special meaning to it, Federico. I just want you to look at the sky with me for a while. So, what color party hat should I wear? Maybe blue? Federico, I think it's time for us to go.
How long have we been standing here?
1.5 hours. Oh my goodness.
1.5 hours. I find that hard to believe.
All the staff have left. It's just the two of us here. Look at your watch. A machine doesn't lie.
Confirmed that 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 16 seconds have passed. This represents a significant deviation from the perceived passage of time. I've never experienced it.
Are you alright? You look uneasy. Are you alright?
I must go with you, doctor, and receive a full examination from the medical department.
What happened?
There's a high probability that this rare shade of blue represents a pathological factor for me. I must ascertain if it will affect my performance on future missions.
Okay, maybe no to the blue hat then. 3 days later.
I apologize for the trouble I caused the medical department with my sudden request for examination.
It's okay, no trouble at all. Don't worry about it. Oh, I just got a message from Closure. She says you should meet her at engineering.
Very well. Are you picking a button air?
Yes, my attendance has been requested at an important occasion.
I recommend Azure.
It's a memorial service for a scholar who recently passed away. Azure, I am going to a funeral, dude.
Understood. Azure is not suitable for such an occasion. Thank you, doctor. I request my leave if there are no other missions.
He's like, oh, I must be going to another party. Blue. Funeral. Never mind. Oop. See you later, Federico. I look forward to our next meeting. See you later.
I've got it, doctor.
What? Tell me more. What? I know, right? Perfect. It's like, I too appreciate blue.
Your jacket is navy blue.
What?
See you later, doctor.
My jacket. It's always been navy blue. He wants me to put the fun in funeral. Oop, I went out too far. Unanswered. Ooh, it looks pretty. Flower. Federico, how's this one? Extrapolating based on the Sanctimonium Ambrosi outer wall searchlight covers, it has not been used in at least a year. It looks a little worn, but the size is about right. We'll just have to cut it open down the middle, wipe it clean, and then we can place that flower inside. Have you obtained the inhabitants' permission? One dragged a batch of supplies over when we sent the commandos. And these are the scraps that the inhabitants don't need anymore. Leave it to me once we're on overtime. I don't want to see you cracking it open by hand. We've at most an hour before the monastery resumes its journey. We'll make it. That reminds me though, Federico. What is it? I don't believe the gardener left a will. Monastery resident Clement Dubois has sent an appropriate burial. He did not leave behind an executable will, nor any other personal estate. You know I'm trying to ask, right? You wish to understand why I'm preserving this flower. This isn't your first time handling an assignment with so much baggage, right? But I've never seen you leave a keepsake for yourself before. Are you doing okay? My assignment is complete, but there are still unaddressed doubts raised by the Sanctiluminium Ambrosi. If I'm remembering correctly, there was this quote from some saint: "A gun needs a target, but not every question can have an answer." I cannot overlook any issues. This will directly impact any follow-up assignments. What am I even worrying about? What am I even worrying over? Wait, don't tell me you questioned His Holiness when you went to report the mission progress? I did, but did not receive an answer. So that's why you're insisting on giving a nearly burnt-out flower another drying. Now I get it. Still, I just say one thing: whether you can keep it preserved or not doesn't depend much on this glass bell I'm cutting. It's already dead. It's not the flower it was before, Federico. Rochelle, your word count in this conversation is significantly above average. Just making small talk, and I'm not even going to ask where you got that average from. Alright, it's settled. After we give this a wash, we'll stick it in onto the pedestal. It'll be as pretty as what they sell in the stores. Thank you. Federico takes the grimy glass bell from his coworker's hands and walks out of the junk-filled shed. Well then, what kind of answer will you find, Laterano's newest saint? That is a pretty display that they DIY'd. It's nice looking. Oh man though, the fire, the statue falling, the flower. And now I'm thinking of the twins. Oh, the twins. And the last person of the night, Virtuosa. Hey girl. Hey cousin. So fancy. File, basic info, codename Virtuosa, gender female, combat experience none, place of birth Laterano, date of birth September 23, race Sancta, height 168 centimeters, infection status, medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Everyone's so healthy. Physical exam, physical strength standard, mobility standard, physical resilience standard, tactical acumen standard, combat skill excellent, or Jannie Mart simulation outstanding. See below. Footnote: Virtuosa's talents for Jannie Marts are well on par with her talents for music. Lithuanian holds music and arts as inseparably bound, and Virtuosa's studies in Lithuanian refine her mastery of music in lockstep with her arts. She finds that researching different art forms comes as easily as practicing new instruments. As a consequence, her unique grasp of arts is likely unevaluable. Under the arts rating metric used by our integrated physical examination, further assessment is called for. And hey, hello. Welcome. Profile: Arturo Giallo, Laterano-born, is an active and renowned musician across Altera. Rhode Island has entered a tripartite agreement as requested by the Imperial Court of Lithuanian and the Lateran Curia to authorize, given strict supervision by relevant personnel, her provisional onboarding at Rhode Island as Operator Virtuosa. Clinical analysis: imaging tests reveal clear normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operators are believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation, 0%. Operator shows no signs of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density, 0.12. Virtuosa's experience traveling Terra rivals that of any veteran messenger. By her own account, her planned journeys, presuming she does actually plan them, don't make a point of avoiding high-risk environs, but it is plain to see Virtuosa's BOCD nevertheless remains relatively healthy. Appendix from medical department: an unusual request for the Lateran Curia. They ask that beyond standard physical examinations, we also hold psychological tests expressly for Virtuosa. Rhode Island has its own provisional mental health evaluation system in place, and more than a few operators sit far below its bar for psychologically healthy. We already have some idea of how Virtuosa's test results will pan out. I would want to see her performance. Like, I'm willing. Archive File 1. Restricted Access Item. Conference Number 1. Date. Beep beep. Beep beep. 1100. Participant Checklist. Rhode Island Human Resources Department present. Rhode Island Medical Department present. Spire of Grace, Lathanian present. Institute of Telepathy, Lathanian present. The Lateran Curia present. Notarial Hall Laterano present. Inquiry footage. Resume transmission. 5 minutes and 17 seconds. 5 hours, 35 minutes and 36 seconds. In light of our collective understanding of the concerned party, I suggest we omit the procedural introduction and move directly to today's inquiry proceedings. The Empress, Voice, is still reviewing the report on the subject. Is the notarial hall in such a rush? Does Athene require the report to understand the subject? We have 3 hours reserved for our initial conference. Abide by the arrangement, Federico. The Empress's Voice has the right to read through the report first. 3 hours. I will begin timing. The conference is being held by the Rhode Island Human Resources Department. Additionally, Emil will be present to assist us in our understanding of the subject's originium arts. How soon we meet, Miss Amiya. With your present, maybe you'll all rest a little easier around me. But of course, I know you won't. 7 minutes and 38 seconds. Pause transmission. Conference log, attachment 2. Opinion from the Institute of Telepathy. If we adopt the theory put forward by several interviewees in the early stage investigation reports concerning Virtuosa, then the art she grasps could be said, in essence, to magnify others' emotions to the point of urging them to take impulsive action, which leads to our falling into the easy trap of lumping it in with other mental arts, or as we should categorize them in Lathanian, telepathic perceptual, thus considering it either a simple illusion mirage-based construct, or a form of so-called mind control. However, the fact of the matter is that Virtuosa's arts are exceedingly rare, given our as yet insufficient study of her type of originium arts. It's no wonder we might have misjudged its effective mechanisms, and hence arrived at an erroneous conclusion. Of all the investigation reports, a 1092 Lateran Notarial Hall case file logs the greatest detail and serves as our most useful reference. Within, the author Federico generalizes Virtuosa's arts as an empathetic expansion, presumably owing to his Lateran familiarities. From there, we conjecture something most interesting, that Virtuosa's unique arts may well be a result of Sancta empathetic abilities acting in concert with telepathic perceptual arts. Based on this hypothesis, we launched further research into her arts with the assent of multiple conference parties, herself and the test subjects. In the course of our research, we carried out both individual and multi-person tests. We've only made a brief summary in this report. Detailed test logs and participant feedback will be recorded elsewhere. In individual tests, when Virtuosa performed music using her originium arts, we picked up both the music and the subject's emotional impulse in a coinciding frequency range on 3 separate detectors. She was seemingly able to perceive this coinciding range and used arts to bring about some sort of resonance effect. This resonance was not limited to the subject and the music, but affected the caster as well, i.e., Virtuosa's own emotional impulses. See attachment number 3. In multi-person tests, Virtuosa demonstrated to us another mode of her originium arts, the effect she displayed during Das Kaiser Innisfest. And one of the pertinent interests to all parties at the conference, she had 3 subjects experience simultaneous emotional resonance. See attachment number 6. The concrete manner in which she achieved this is something we still haven't ascertained. Conference log, attachment number 4, subject number 1, Mrs. Beep. Without personally undergoing it, I fear one could hardly know how Virtuosa's arts acts upon her subjects. Much like how the Sancta have a limited ability to explain to others just how their empathy works. As a researcher of consciousness and cognition, I've always been fond of likening the human consciousness to a lake. Our typical actions and motivations are merely the scenery mirrored on its surface. The thing that we call subconscious, no more than the fins and pebbles of some meters under. We often take the existence of the lake for granted, forgetting that we have each forgetting that we have each drop of water to thank for begetting it. Each moment of sadness and triumph, each moment of thought and feeling, as they pour into this grand lake and become one with it. Thus, we observe and see only a great body of water, not the minute, endless trickles. Virtuosa's arts are able to separate and distinguish the water back into those constituent trickles. Under the effect of her arts, every depth of our consciousness, including those we've long forgotten, are buried, or deliberately hidden memories, are given an emphasis they've never known. Such memories are usually associated with the strongest emotions stirred by the melody itself. They flow to the surface on their own and cause us to reconsider the manner in which the lake of our consciousness is. We sometimes underestimate on how real a level of reconsideration changes our behavior and influences our judgment. That said, after undergoing today's experiments, Virtuosa's arts have had me find that merely analyzing have had me find that merely analogizing to a lake is altogether insufficient to describe the breadth of human consciousness, or to count the grand billows that our music can stir within it. As such, the sea of consciousness may be a more apt metaphor. Outcome of meeting, joint deliberation by all convened parties concludes that the functional mechanisms by which operate Virtuosa's arts can work are yet unclear, and still of inestimable risk. Therefore, per agreement, she is to be transferred to Rhodes Island to await further observation and study. Virtuosa will continue to require supervision while at Rhodes Island. All conduct will be subject to consistent scrutiny. Anything spoken must be logged, and she is forbidden from performing anything without authorization. Classified log. The hypothesis at the conference was correct. Virtuosa's arts can stir people's innermost and most significant memories, which then arouse some given state of mind, thus forming emotions. However, she cannot, by her own will, alter the memories reawakened in people when they hear music, nor can she show them or put them through emotions or experiences that have never existed. She cannot make the sad laugh heartily, nor turn the disposed merciful. The greater power exhibited by her arts is the resonance between music and a person's awakened ego. Virtuosa herself has long been aware of this. She has not once attempted to invert another's nature through her music, not for helplessness, but for wisdom. Oh man, imagine having water. Archive File 2. After highly protracted discussion, Rhodes Island has ultimately made the decision to admit Virtuosa in operator capacity. Though her movements are not to be strictly circumscribed, we've been pressured to request that the associated operator, i.e. Executor, follow her during her time aboard, so as to keep her safe. In any case, no matter how you slice it, Virtuosa now has some amount of freedom. It is unavoidable, however, that her arrival has perturbed Rhodes Island's collective nerves. Rumors have circulated that her exploits prior to boarding, and on the same token, various departments have separately hammered home what to watch for when interacting with her. From the perspective of our operators, this only proves further the magnitude of her power. If her cello could incite such disturbances in Sargon, Columbia, and even the Hardlithanian, it's difficult to imagine the effect it could have on Rhodes Island. Even so, not once has a performance of it been indulged aboard the landship. This restriction comes not just from Rhodes Island, or even the ever-present, ever-close gun-toting Executor. The will of the cellist herself is the greatest hindrance. The fastener binding the cello strings has not been loosened here in a very long time. She has on record invited other operators to pluck its strings, but never do they vibrate, instead remaining steadfastly silent. It doesn't matter if a piece is a masterpiece or not, and while the respect a performer has for it does, it's the piece itself that has a final say. Rose Island's movement is enough of a masterpiece already, and it'd be far too discourteous of me to keep ruining it with a tuneless din. Classified log. Illusions can often arouse complex moods in people, but one aspect is consistent: loneliness. Virtuosa's, however, differs. I can sense how she, hand in hand with her audience, faithfully walks each brief journey of the heartstrings to its end. She veils at the listener's ear so as to listen together, and so too of the listener's eye, so as to weave together. Her listeners are never alone. Virtuosa is, in a sense, undeniably sincere. Archive File 3, Virtuosa's private scorebook. Opening reveals no staves within, nor a single note, but taken down in meticulous penmanship are each composition's name, instruments, and performance length, along with an explanation of the work, or some descriptive equivalent. Is this how Virtuosa memorizes these places, or these pieces? Oh, if you describe Atoria, you would say she's the most sancta of all sancta. It's also one of the one who is most attached. Her arts and emotions are freedom unrestricted by the law, but Federico was the least sancta of them all, but the one attached, and what makes it a Lateran, their faith, and his faith is the law. Somnia Calarum. Himmelsstrom, 1086. Instruments, harmonica. It seems that since ancient times, people have dreamt of flying into the sky, and the dream stays alive even in old age, with just a crane of the head to look into the blue. A soaring harmonica should be able to give them a helping hand. Minuet. The king he came a-dancing. Der Tanzende Regent, 1091. I think it's funny considering they're both cousins. It's like, what is in that family bloodline that made them like this? Like, imagine if they had even more cousins or siblings. Instruments, empty beer bottle. Flying lager for wide register. Mama John's for crystal timber. Also, you can add red wine directly to the garbage dump. Yaki. Yummy. Delicious. I never tried performing with something as unique as an empty bottle before. Who knew their scales could be so interesting? Much thanks to the drunk the other day for explaining how rich in talent law schools are. Looks like I'll want to keep trying my luck on their lawn every so often. Foen, 1093. Instrument, cello. Works better on dessert. Instruments, cello. Works better on dessert drums. Sargon's people are too zesty. Hearts more glitter than summer. More fiery than the sun. They deserved better lives. They deserve a more passionate song. The Foens lift the sands, and together the sands blot out the sun that broils them. Nocturne. Paradise. Or Paradise. Paradise? 1099. Instruments, cello. This land bears too many exiles, too heavy a sorrow. I beg you, don't tell the flowers about them. I beg you, don't deceive the flowers with them. May this flower soul arrive at paradise. Duller floris, demum in pace requiscant. Oh my goodness, how many songs does she have listed? Miss Koenig. 1100. Instruments, cello. This piece hasn't written for any one sovereign. I'd like to think it was written for all of them. Remember forever the afterglow of Schulingsterm. A sovereign one meets again. A sovereign one becomes. Diagnostic report from Psychology and Empathy, Pagus Devonis Central Hospital. Firstly, let me thank Rhodes Island for allowing us on board to carry out a psychological examination of our troublemaker. Certainly, Artoria has ignited our interest in cases, though I personally despise any terminology that suggests the phenomenon is an illness of Erari, or near funicular, the astray. We owe this secondarily to her nomadic lifestyle and primarily to her being, to a degree, banished in the eyes of the Holy City. Rationally speaking, per our prior understanding of the astray, we would expect Artoria's empathic ability at this point to be quite diminished since her time in the Holy City. However, we've made a quantitative comparison of her empathic ability between the two periods and found that it had not only refused to weaken, but had reached an all-new state through her arts. Needless to say, You may trust that we've experienced firsthand the might of her one-of-a-kind empathy, yet just how did her empathy become so developed amidst such a long-term Irari lifestyle? I believe we can find our answer in her prolonged experience roaming across Terra. Of course, calling it empathy is a matter of my own personal taste, a concept I can trust my fellow Laterans to comprehend. Skip the details? Nah. I have to learn as much as I can about my operators, or the operators in Rhode Island. Learning is good. Reading good. Of course, calling it empathy is a matter of my own personal taste, a concept I can trust my fellow Laterans to comprehend. But whether through the lens of mode of operation, principle of action, or resultant effect, Arturia's arts are absolutely and thoroughly distinct from true empathy. We're currently held back by issues of facilities and permissions. Come the time for her to properly return to the Holy City, we, under the auspices of the 6th Tribunal, will invite even more doctors of psychiatry, even the idiots from the 7th Tribunal 66th, to administer an even more comprehensive exam. I have the faint feeling that Arturia is capable of doing more for our law and order than simply damaging it. Likewise, the sin she committed and the reproach she receives may not be bearable by her alone. When the time comes, I bid the law determine. Archive File 4. You tread into a nightmare, and your throat is voiceless. You cannot make out anyone's face, but you hear the sound you know, warm and bright like a lullaby from long ago. Arturia? Are you any better? Are you still feeling bad? Can you tell Mama any more about your bad dream last night? It's okay, Arturia. You don't need to worry about losing your voice. You don't need to worry about not seeing others' faces. Come here. Come to Mama. Look, it's a cello. Mama will teach you. You think Federico and Arturia make the best good cop and bad cop? Baily being in interrogation with his 24/7 emotionless face, and then there's Arturia listening to your troubles. Well, low-key amplifying your emotions and for information. The funniest part would be she would be bad cop and he would be good cop. Am I AI? As in I as in love? I wish. AI as in artificial intelligence? No. Bow meets string and plays a silent falling of rain. You know it's rain because raindrops land on your face. It hurts. It burns. You search for that lullaby. Where is she? You're jostled about. Everyone is wearing veils. And they're so far away, but a hand clutches your arm tight. Arturia Giallo, don't feel sad. Your father doesn't blame you. He just can't find it in him to accept it yet. He wants for you to wear these gloves. Your mother left them to you. If you can't keep your music in check, then you just need someone else to keep you in check. These gloves are where we'll start. This isn't a punishment, Arturia. It's to protect others, to protect those by your side, to protect the ones close to you. No hurting them anymore, Arturia. The figures melt into this inky rain. Its every burning drop converges into a single inky sun. It looms over your head. Its black light renders you blind. You are too late, Arturia. You never got to meet your tutor for the last time. You never got to give him a proper goodbye. You long foresaw his death, didn't you? By the time you learned he used to perform beneath that spire, his death was set in stone. A shame, once pitted against fate, even Emmanuel leaves us so. You? What can you possibly do in all this? Arturia, there's nothing you can do. The inky sun sets, it hangs its head in duty, and plunges into the human ocean. The babbling ocean eventually coalesces into a lone tear, streaks down your face, and falls into your heart. You hear the voice. It's okay, Arturia. It is here the music stops. Excuse me. I didn't notice you were here. That was a newer piece I only practice when I'm on my own. I must have made an embarrassment of myself. I'm still not too fluent. Actually, it's not even finished yet. I only got the inspiration to write it recently. It's a very fresh method of composition for me, and it does prove challenging. No piece in the lands has ever been composed like this before, which is why I can even promise that its very passage is rooted in sincerity. It is a melody of me, still. I knew what I titled it long ago. I call it Virtuosa. Promotion record. The distant sky yawns with cumulus catastrophe clouds. Into the storm sinks the sun, casting its inauspicious afterglow across Rose Island's deck. Like parched blood, scorched earth. You turn to go back into the ship. The course ahead won't be smooth. Finally, you notice you're not alone on the deck, not at all. You have a visitor, just a single one. You don't know when she got here, nor do you know how long she stood behind you. There in the spot, only now have you seen her, the black-haired Sancta. You walk through the ship's interior. You see an auspicious light reaching to creep across her face. Her expression is as placid as ever. You heard her tell that she has no emotion. But you see her, and it's as if she's smiling. You recall the same smile of hers. The day beneath the spotlight, you see the bow in her right hand, placed to the strings fingered beneath her left. You recall the reason she came aboard. Bow caress string. The first note lingers in your mind. She's forbidden from performing, especially to you. You're not at all prepared for this. It's too late. But the music abruptly stops. It ends. The Sancta doesn't continue. You find you've already walked up to face her. Doctor, I'm not going to perform for you. Not aboard Rhodes Island, at least. The Sancta lifts her bow away. Upon its wooden tip, there rests a pallid, sparkling cloud. Like newborn ice, a flower bloomed from nowhere. But performing this cloud should be fine, at least, shouldn't it? Clad in jet black gloves, the Sancta offers it forth. You take the white cloud into your hands, turn your head to see it behind you, and the sun is set. The catastrophe clouds have woven a blackout canopy. May this new journey be plain sailing. Her piece said. The cloud flickers and scatters into the night. Ayy. Now for operator record. Let's see. Himmels, Zelt, and Better Volk. See what you see what I see. Hello, Mia. The wind rustles the branches. In late autumn, the sound of a cello filling the forest matted by fallen leaves. Amia treks along to the cello's melodies. Her face is loosely clenched, rings shimmering faintly beneath the sunlight, flittering through the trees. And wait, it's very tense, so let me just message real quick. I'll be like, sorry, polka dude, finishing up thingy. Okay, let me just write that. Finishing up operator record real quick. Okay, finishing up the last operator right now. Okay, message that. Done. Amia treks along to the cello's melodies. Her face is loosely clenched, rings shimmering faintly beneath the sunlight, flittering through the trees. A black-haired Sancta is standing in a clearing in the forest, embracing her cello, ever so focused. The sound of the cello continues to flow, uninterrupted by her rival. A gentle sound. Amia stops, and her palms begin to loosen, gradually. Even the trees around her and the clouds above her begin to melt into the flowing stream, seemingly rippling through the sky, yet also around her feet. Arturia, you shouldn't just wander from your room as you please. Besides, today there's a... Oh, it's alright. The Sancta woman lifts her gaze slightly. There's still a bit of distance separating the two of them, but Amia is sure that the woman has seen her. Oh! I didn't think we'd see these familiar faces. Oh no! Ah, this trip down memory lane. Sheesh. Amiya does not move. Instead, the starlight and the waves reach out to embrace her. Across thousands of blurry scenes, countless figures intersect with her. She feels as if she has become a book, and the cello's melody is a pair of hands, flipping through the deepest pages of her emotions. Federico warned everyone to stay away from her music, but Amiya is not the same mind. She quietly takes a deep breath. This is something only she can do, to touch the face beneath the veil of mystery, to reach Artoria. Amiya, what are you looking at? Huh? Amiya turns when she hears a voice. At some point, a woman as pure as the moonlight approached, her eyes gentle as always. Amiya sees herself reflected in the eyes of the woman before her. And yeah, finishing out the last record. Sitting in the corner of the deck with her arms tightly hugging her knees, bangs loosely covering her eyes. Amiya, you've been sitting on the deck all this time. What are you looking at? The sun is about to set. One of the nice men from engineering gave me a lolly, Teresa. Are you done with work? Yes, I am. Are you thinking about your mom and dad? Dad used to carry me up to the roof of the work shed after he came back from his engineering work. It got pretty cold after the sun went down. But Dad's shoulders were really thick, so we could stay there for a long time. I remember the stars coming out one by one, until filled up the night sky. But now, the doctor's with me, Dr. Kelsey's with me too, and so are you. Every now and then, it makes me miss Mom and Dad a little bit less. The doctor said that in this last year of sailing the land, you're the motivating factor. It's very fortunate that the doctor saved you. I'm also glad that Rhodes Island was able to become your home. Perhaps death is not the most profound goodbye, but it is the most cruel, impossible to turn back. Yet you face it bravely. You may have to endure more goodbyes in the future, but remember, goodbye is not the end. You will feel, you will connect, you will live on, you'll become the place where everything meets. You will become the future. Where do you plan to go next? I'm going back. Thank you so much, but I can't stay any longer. The memory of Teresa becomes blurry. The Lord of Fiends grants illusions unto others. The Lord of Fiends also passes down memories and arts, as well as emotions and knowledge. But Amiya's never delved deeply into herself. Like a pair of mirrors, Amiya throws open the transparent door. Amiya must be like, so this is what it must be like for others when I use my arts. Interesting. And on the other side of the door is a lawn. It is just rained, and a pleasant scent wafts through the air. A small church stands silent not too far away. All the guests have already left, leaving only a young Sancta standing in front of a tombstone. She stands there in silence, water droplets still clinging to her cheeks. She cannot tell if they are rain or tears. So, Artoria, is death the theme of this song? You're suffering, but look. It took a long time and meeting a lot of people to not be sad when I think about my parents. But you're not just sad, there's also confusion and anger? Directed at who? The guests who turned their backs and left? Or death itself? Yes, yet Artoria does not truly see her. The young Sancta stands in the shadows of the past. Mama, how much courage did it take for you to take that last brave step? How could death pluck your life from you so quickly? Why does death turn human bodies into empty husks? Why is it so easy to make all those complex, profound emotions disappear without a trace? Why are you but wisps of clouds? So free, so beautiful, yet gone whenever the wind blows? It turns all of her effort to make up for past regrets into new regrets. And you shouldn't have. You didn't need to die. Cora, you didn't need to die. There were so many chances for you to leave before the Empress's celebration began. Arturia, you had so many chances to tell me your feelings in Marigold Alley, at Ludwig's Universitat, and even at the theater in front of the spire. Did you not know how to express them, even though you know that I understand your music? I tried telling Viviana, hoping that she would discover your existence through the clues left in the Goldeneskasats. But even she... I don't want to change the decision that you made, nor can I. That's right, in fact, you know better than anyone that I passed on with no regrets. The one with regrets is you, isn't it? I'll always remember our first meeting, and Lehrer Emmanuel's funeral, beneath the sunset in front of the Imperial Spires. I helped tune your cello, and you told me about the people you had met and the things you've experienced. I couldn't see your face clearly, but I could hear the stirring sounds of your cello. You shared with me your regrets, as well as the faith those regrets brought you. You're the first person who encouraged me to play the melodies of my heart. You're one of the few close friends I've had on this long, long journey. I don't want to. But will my feelings, and all the things I've experienced, truly dissipate like flowing clouds? You find it quite cool in this interaction, the doctor who hangs out with Federico. Both minds that leans on rationality. Well, at least one of them at times. Yeah, true. Without the little sanity. And Amiya's the one who interacts with Arturia, one who's also as emotionally charged as Arturia. Which is perfect. The difference, though, both of them are going through memory lane, and it's pretty depressing. While Federico and I are talking about colors, party hats. Arturia, my dear friend, play for me. Let me hear your music one more time. I've always believed that this is what they precisely meant. The cello's melodies flow, and more scenes that she has never seen unfold in front of Arturia. Those images and sounds melt into a river, flowing towards reaches unknowable to man. Arturia wades through the river. She does not know when or how she reached the shore, but when she next opens her eyes, she finds herself standing in front of a door. You've come a long way, haven't you? Ooh, Arturia. Is this a monastery? A monastery built on a nomadic plate. It looks a lot like Sanctiluminium Ambrosi, doesn't it? It has roamed the lands with me for many years, but now it has been still for 2.5 months. Is it worn down? No, it's because I've been sick. I've been waiting for death to come. No need to keep looking. I'm the only one here and no one else is coming. We're a long way from Laterano, so long that even the Legati, who have crossed countless of lands for the Lateran Declaration, have never tread. I know what you're here for, Arturia. The reason ideal can be an ideal is that it is sufficiently out of reach. I've been to so many different places. I've approached cities, entered barrens, ice fields, and deserts all scattered with life. In every place I've been, the flames of war continue to burn. I've witnessed every forgotten end. Over the course of my long journey, I've never put down my cello. I've played for all kinds of people from all walks of life, but the end result has never been satisfactory. A strong soul, rationality without reservation, a pure and sincere openness. I strive to approach that future. Yet it is still so far away. But she will die here, in a distant corner, in a dilapidated monastery. Death will reduce everything to naught, leaving not a trace behind. Do you grip your cello to play your own requiem, with nothing but fear, helplessness, anger, and sorrow? Just as you used to be. The clouds are gathering outside the window again. What? We cannot hope to hold on to a single cloud, but it is not the entire sky we seek to depict. Great men must die, just as ordinary men must die. Those who have walked with us through life will eventually part ways, and none may overwrite death. Death will cut the threads of our lives and turn our bodies into hollow shells, incapable of harboring thoughts or feelings. and capable of forming new substance. But this does not mean that the complex and profound emotions we once held will completely disappear. Precisely because death is insurmountable, I must play and continue to play. This way, those dissipated feelings will continue to be felt, understood, and remembered by all. Is it not its very purpose? Arturia, have you considered that what you just saw might actually be your future? I'm glad that I'm finally getting closer to it. Hi, Amiya. The sound of strings continues to reverberate through the woods. The songta slowly places her cello into its case as the courteous girl watches her movements in silence, waiting for her to make eye contact. Another thing they have in common, Arturia cello, Amiya violin. Amiya? Sorry for getting you wrapped up in my melody. Arturia, we haven't had a chance to for formal introductions yet. Formal introductions since you came to Rose Island. I believe today's occasion makes for the perfect icebreaker, better than any deliberate arrangement. Your powers are strange. You don't even need an instrument. It's like 2 mirrors. Simple, yes, but through them you can see countless selves. You and Rose Island are a lot more interesting than I thought. I can say the same thing about your music. Even in such a short period of time, it feels like we've gotten to know each other quite well. Do you feel those emotions often? Do you understand how I think? Okay, if they were in the same ambient synesthesia, oh, that'd be fun. But in the end, we're still rather different. Such a shame. But we'll have plenty of time to spend together. Now then, please hurry back with me. There's no need to rush. I'm not trying to get away. The fact is, you've been away from the landship for a long time. And it just so happens that there's a distinguished Lateran guest who wants to see you. We've been looking all over for you. I see. My apologies then. Amiya, after we get back to the ship, do you think I can invite you to my concert? You could be more than just an audience. Sure. We welcome all who have goodwill towards Rose Island. Do you see me as one such person? No, your thoughts go beyond good and evil. That I'm well aware of. But let me be clear on that one point. Nobody would mention any of the events that just transpired. After peace, there is always some tacit understanding among the performers and among the audience. I quite like the view here. Too bad I won't be able to stay any longer. Let's go. A distinguished guest indeed. Looks like Amiya is more capable than I gave her credit for. It is an honor, Holy Father. Wow, he came here just for Arturia.
To the infected children who just ran by, I was nothing more than the grandpa with the Lateran candy. No Holy Father here, just a grandpa.
As you wish.
Arturia Giallo. I believe this is the first time we've met, but you don't seem surprised. I get the sense that your trip to Lethadian has brought you a wealth of experience and broadened your horizons.
If it had something to do with me, and had to be personally arranged by the leader of Rhodes Island, I figured it was probably a very important person. Though I expected a meeting like this would take place in the Basilica's Hall of Pontifical Audiences, where the Holy Father would hand down his sentence to a dangerous repeat blasphemer.
It is true that the Notarial Hall has logged far too many anonymous incidents that involve you. When Federico brought you back to Laterano, the Curia immediately organized the first, fifth, sixth, and seventh tribunals to conduct a joint trial. All according to the law, of course.
The law?
So before that happens, we should meet at least once, and Rose Island is the only place where that could happen. Arturia, daughter of Sin, for the time being, you can think of this dormitory as a makeshift confessional. What we say here will not be recorded, and will not be acknowledged hereafter.
I've had an awakening.
Without ritual or witnesses, but that's fine. You were no hero to begin with. On behalf of Laterano, I pronounce you, Artoria Giallo, our next chosen saint.
Congratulations! Oh my goodness, just like your cousin. Good for you, girl. I get the feeling you don't do this willingly.
What makes you say that? Though it doesn't really matter, there will always be some meaning behind the law's choices.
Federico was the one who brought you to Rhodes Island, right? Funny. I wonder how you explain to our darling saint that the fugitive he had just apprehended was also chosen to be a saint? Or maybe...
You're right, Federico doesn't know yet, but he will understand. I will ask that of him. After all, I'm neither condoning nor forgiving the things you've done, my child.
I never care for the law's forgiveness or this title. It's all rather annoying, to be entirely honest. What else would the Curia be using me for?
Child, there is much you do not understand. Your experiences, behaviors, ideals, and even the paranoia reflected in your arts have all appeared countless times before. One particular interpretation by Sancta unto Sancta. How can you be so sure that your unique talents, your unique arts, are not a deliberate manifestation of the law? After all, you carry a halo over your head. You're a Lateran Sancta, Artoria. The white walls of Laterano have stood for thousands of years, and you're not the only, alienus. As much as I loathe the word, nevertheless, our glorious law has given me a decisive answer.
And what does this vague answer mean, Your Holiness?
It means that every light we know will one day be extinguished, and it is no exception.
The old pope playfully points to the halo hovering above his head. Arturia is lost in thought. Even if everything about the Sancta existence is interpreted as its boon? The pope does not answer, simply moving abruptly to his next question.
What will you be?
What?
Take away your prejudice, your pride, and your sins, and what will be left of you? What would you do? What would you bring? Answer me this.
I'm still searching, Holy Father. There's no point in lying to you, but you say that our halos will fade, and that the Sancta will lose the cozy cabin of our faith? Wouldn't that just make Laterano the same as any other place? My ideal understanding, my ideal emotion, the kind of unreserved, pure, and honest communication that I seek, has nothing to do with what you just said, not even a little bit. And yet, why does the law insist on choosing me as a so-called saint?
All I can say is you're right. You gave a much more reasonable answer than I expected. It would appear that what transpired in Lithuanian was much more extreme than what was officially documented in our intel.
And what if I refuse to become a saint? Or is this the atonement that you arranged for me, and that I don't have the right to refuse?
Child, the choice is still yours to make. I'm simply conveying the warning that I received to a fellow citizen of Laterano.
You who stands atop all the operae would turn to a sinner?
But as you know, the Pope has ways of cleverly manipulating the words of a revelation, for example, by changing the name of the saint. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to threaten you. Federico will see the case through regardless.
If you really think that, then why?
But when the sun sets, your thoughts and beliefs may prove to be a potent medicine. The saint is a sign that the sanctas are in peril. All I can do is tinker around the edges. Furthermore, the tragedy that you caused was also your own tragedy. Sancto Laterano, faith, empathy, communication, and our society. These things comprise your story. They comprise you. Is there any pope who would turn a blind eye to all this? So after deep reflection, I decided to personally see you to the end, young saint, until your duty is done. I will lead all of you to the future you deserve.
What is the end, or what is that end?
Don't know. Prophecy isn't part of the job. Having that said, going off to recent developments, the future you deserve is far from bright.
It seems like the decision has been a heavy burden on your shoulders.
The situation might just be bad enough to necessitate the gamble. How's it sound to you, Artoria?
Well, would you consider becoming an audience for a saint?
I'm not particularly well versed in music, but actually, wait a minute. I've been standing for too long. Why don't we head to Rose Island's cozy reception area for a bit?
You can listen when we walk.
Fine, fine. Hup. Please begin then. I'd like to hear something distinctly Lateran.
Through the window, the daylight's tail end suddenly leaves its outline in the sky, the dusk shimmering brilliantly. For no particular reason, she thinks that of the sunsets in Schwillingstern and the clouds above the many cities she has seen. The sky is getting dark, and a slight shaking comes from underfoot, indicating that the landship is about to set sail into the night. The bridge lights come on. Now then, a melody begins to flow. I wonder how her cousin's gonna feel. It's like, wait a second, you're a saint too? Oh. Oh. Just oh. Like dot dot dot. And now, last thingy. The decrescendo. The gloves, the metronome. Those are fancy gloves. And even a belt. Her tutor seems very late to today's lesson, but the student hardly cares. She's always hated this tutor anyway. Clearly, she's good enough to finish this whole cello solo unguided. But somehow, her tutor's just never satisfied. Certainly, she can't play as well as her tutor. Oh, she's tried to submerge herself in that score, to converse without care with the composer she never got to know, but those E1 black markings have stayed silent on their chalk, white scores. The mysterious composer passed away almost a century ago. They say she died all alone and practically left no trace she ever lived, save for a few of her scores. It's not in her grasp to comprehend the passion and sorrow that lie within each movement, nor does she have a clue who that ever-lost lover hiding in the score really was, or why they were struck by such fits of madness. And so, she can only but play the score intact. The score instructs, emotionlessly. At first, it goes well enough. She can feel the brush of each note, feel them settle in her heart, but as the movements progress, and the music enters its passages of true frothing turbulence, the leaps, the repeats, those elegant trills and appoggiaturas, it all embraces her with fervor. They invite her to a mad dance, but step by step, her gait follows less and less. Tempestuous crescendos and diminuendos barrel violently through her vision, only to slip away next instant to the score's furthest reaches. She tries to catch them, grab a hold of each glittering moment that accompanies them, struggling in the midst of the endlessly long staff, to the point her strings tremors can no longer rouse those worked up emotions, and their place is taken by the repetitious back and forth of the metronome, clack, 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 echoing lonely in her ears, until the impassioned music agonizingly lingers no longer, as if this betrayal was preordained, and thus the energy fades from her fingertips, as does that beautiful passage, leaving only the metronome still chiming away, clack, 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 clack. Hello, hello. The imperfect silence becomes a parting declaration. At this, the fury and despair that lurk in her heart burst forth, becoming the heat in the tears her eyes brim with. Her vision blurs. The plain white score before her bids her final throes of resistance. She snatches the quill, and upon the score engraves each and every leap, every repeat, every elegant trill and appoggiature, every tempestuous crescendo and diminuendo. Jet black like cast iron shackles, she knows she's gone mad. But this is the only way she has to bind her ever-lost lover to her side. Before the final bar line ends it all, her life will flow with the music. And this is when the cello grinds to a halt. She finds herself holding the bow, the cello silently resting upon her bosom. And the strings are not quivering, but the metronome is not rocking. And all that fills the chamber is her heavy breathing, and her sancta tutor, with her black gloves, gently brushes a hand over hers, and speaks in the same soft and gentle tone as ever. Your playing today was perfect. She congratulates her, content. The composer's life and her love flowed within your performance. Aww. Okay, that's sweet. Look at her, she did a thing. Ayy. My favorite is still Executor. Like, overall, his are just fun. Like, 100 scoop ice cream challenge, or gelato challenge, and then going to the museum with him. Very cute. Though, Artoria's one surprised me the most. I did not expect for her to become a saint in the end. Oh man, too funny. And the Pope himself came specifically to tell her that, without her cousin knowing yet. I do wonder how Phi's gonna react. I hope the saint thing is gonna be brought up in the event. Cause that is a big reveal. That is entertaining. Oh man. I can imagine them going on a saint mission together. I wonder how awkward that's gonna be. It'll be fun for us to see at least. But woohoo! I'm glad I already eat dinner tonight. I just gotta get another glass of juice or water or something. So woohoo! I'll be starting the event officially next week. So with that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day at Epic Gacha Luck. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye! Woohoo! Success!